Isaiah, Awakening Successful. Grade Class. Exclusive Summoner. Brilliant characters flashed across the enormous light screen above the Awakening platform, bearing the verdict. A1 of A. Kind God, Tier Class. The students and teachers waiting below stared blankly at the words, scarcely daring to breathe. How is this possible? How could an S grade emerge from our little corner of the world? Exclusive Summoner. Summoners share all skills, attributes, and equipment with their summons, right? That should be right. Isaiah has hit the jackpot. Man, I'm so jealous. The area beneath the platform erupted into commotion. Yet Isaiah, the protagonist, stood calmly in place, showing no trace of joy on his face. Ever since he had transmigrated 18 years ago, he had looked forward to this awakening more than anything. This was a world where ordinary people could ascend to godhood. Upon turning 18, every person received a chance to awaken a class. A successful awakening could catapult you to great heights. Wealth and status were trivial matters. Most importantly, it extended your lifespan and granted powers akin to those in Xianxia novels. Failure meant remaining an ordinary person. In this world where the strong lived long lives and the weak endured hardship, ordinary folk faced relentless exploitation. His grade class was undeniably outstanding. Logically, he ought to be overjoyed, yet the opposite held true. Exclusive Summoner came with a major drawback. He could form a contract with only a single summon. While full sharing of attributes, skills, and equipment applied, this power depended entirely on the summon's strength. In theory, he needed to contract at least an epic rank summon. Without one, he would be stuck with a mediocre summon for his entire life, weaker than most warriors with no real prospects. An epic rank summon cost 5 million star dollars, a sum far beyond his means. Though the class granted a free summoning card, the odds of drawing a high-level summon were practically zero. Damn, what do I do? Should I sell the class? Isaiah frowned, overcome with anxiety. This troublesome class had shattered his mood. Selling it felt like wasting his chance, yet using it demanded resources he simply did not possess. As Isaiah hesitated, Principal Wang Tianming raised a microphone from the VIP seats far away. Young man, hold on. Do not summon your summon just yet. Isaiah looked up in surprise. Wang Tianming passed the microphone to a middle-aged man in a tailored suit, who spoke at the top of his voice. Young man, you understand your class's limitations. Sell it to Red Star Group. We will pay you 5 million star dollars and guarantee you free access to all amenities across Tianqi City, free from interference from other factions. The crowd exploded the instant those words rang out. 5 million star dollars? Are you kidding me? That amount is unimaginable. I envy the wealthy so much. Many in the audience burned with envy. Most of their parents earned merely 30,000 star dollars per year. 5 million meant never needing to work for the rest of one's life. Isaiah wavered. The class was useless in his hands, and selling it would let him live comfortably forever. The choice seemed obvious. He knitted his brows, ready to agree. Right before he gave his answer, he glanced at his status panel out of habit, as if bidding his opportunity a final farewell. Name: Isaiah level, 10% class. Exclusive Summoner S. May contract only one summon at a time. Shares all attributes, skills, and equipment with the summon. Talent: Gear Sovereign EX. Your summon possesses unlimited equipment slots. Unlocked upon contracting a summon. Constitution: 18 Strength, 6 Agility, 6 Spirit, 6 Summon, none. Isaiah had only intended a quick glance. His gaze locked onto the talent description, and his eyes widened in shock. Wait a minute. He swallowed hard, fixated on the EX rank talent called Gear Sovereign. Unlimited equipment slots. Does that mean unlimited weapons and items can be equipped? Talents were mysterious. Most class holders had none, and those that existed were mostly low, rank C, grade, and largely ignored. His talent stood at EX rank. Realization washed over him. Ordinary people and summons had fixed, limited equipment slots offering modest bonuses. His summon faced no such restriction. Provided he obtained gear, his summon could grow infinitely powerful, and as their stats were shared, so would he. Ecstasy surged through Isaiah. This was an unbeatable path to immense power. Stack as many pieces of equipment as possible, and their bonuses would pile up. I cannot sell this. Absolutely not. Even if I draw the weakest summon imaginable, I cannot give this up. Having steeled his resolve, he waved toward the VIP stands. Sorry, I have no intention of selling. A hush fell over the awakening square. Principal Wang Tianming stared at him in disbelief, and the students looked on in astonishment. 5 million star dollars. Why turn that down? Look at his family's circumstances. No matter how good the class is, he still needs money for a powerful summon. Seeing Bai Zai's unyielding expression, Wang Tianming slapped his thigh, urgency in his voice. Bai Zai, think carefully. This class will serve you poorly. Even with a common summon, your combined strength will not match a warrior's. Think of the bigger picture. This class ought to go to someone capable of protecting our city and the empire. Wang Tianming was frantic. If Bai Zai sold, he would receive a $2 million kickback. Refusal left him with nothing. Zhang Shanhai, the CEO of Red Star Group, could no longer sit still. His heavy, featured face showed disdain mixed with frustration. He had seen students like Bai Zai before, poor yet stubbornly clinging to high-resource classes, ruining their own futures. He would never have bothered if his own son had not failed his awakening the previous day. Young man, calm down. This class is wasted on you. How about this? $2 million plus a B-grade warrior class for you. Is that fair? Zhang Shanhai spoke as reasonably as he could, believing his offer more than generous for both sides. Newly awakened classes could only be transferred within a 2-hour window. He planned for his son to claim the S-grade class and receive an epic summon, while Bai Zai would embark on a respectable path as a warrior. He had no idea Bai Zai's thinking was completely different. If I refuse openly, they might force the trade. I need to summon my summon right now to make them abandon their schemes, Bai Zai thought. He pulled out the free white summoning card granted by his class. Come forth, my summon. Zhang Shanhai leapt to his feet, and Wang Tianming moved to rush onto the platform, but it was already too late. Brilliant white light flooded the area, and a small, cute figure materialized within the glow. As the radiance faded, the figure came into full view. First visible were small bone feet, not menacing but oddly endearing. Standing less than 1 meter tall was a tiny skeleton with a large round skull. Every bone had a polished, translucent jade, like sheen. Summon successful. Excellent. Rank: White Jade Little Skeleton. A status window appeared before Bai Zai. Name: White Jade Little Skeleton Level 1 synchronized with Summoner's Level Talent. White Jade Rebirth. May resurrect upon death by consuming White Jade material. Constitution: 10 Strength, 4 Agility, 3 Spirit, 2 Equipment, none Skill. Big Head Charge LV1. Slam foes with its large skull, dealing 160% of its strength as damage. 10-second cooldown. Bai Zai stared at the adorable little creature, momentarily speechless. He had expected weakness, yet this was far feebler than anticipated. White Jade Rebirth was a resurrection ability, yet most summons could revive without special materials. This one required cheap low-grade White Jade consumables. Its skill was equally underwhelming. None of that mattered to Bai Zai. With the gear's sovereign talent, even the most worthless summon could be elevated to God-tier power. Papa! The little skeleton chirped, shuffling close and rubbing its big skull against Bai Zai's leg. Bai Zai sighed and patted its round cranium. It was his summon, after all, and he would look after it. He lifted the small skeleton into his arms, completing their contract. Silence descended over the scene. Principal Wang Tianming pushed up his glasses, his eyes turning cold. With the contract finalized, class transfer was no longer possible. He had angered Red Star Group, and his kickback had vanished. His face crumpled with suppressed rage. Bai Zai, do you understand what you have done? I understand. This is my class, and I choose what to do with it. Bai Zai replied calmly, neither submissive nor defiant. Wang Tianming grew angrier, ready to unleash a tirade, but Zhang Shanhai waved a hand, forcing a casual tone. It is fine. Young people have their own dreams. Red Star Group bears no grievance. His tone was light, yet Bai Zai caught the fury burning in his eyes. Open retaliation was impossible in public, but once he left the platform, anything could happen. Thank you. I will take my leave. Bai Zai nodded and stepped down. Students crowded around him, chattering non-stop. Are you crazy? $5 million. That skeleton of yours cannot possibly fight. Still, good call refusing them. Red Star Group has been ruthless lately. 2A Great Awakeners were pressured into selling their classes yesterday. Though some sounded like consolation, most spoke with sarcasm. Bai Zai ignored them all and carried the little skeleton back to the classroom. In half an hour, all newly awakened candidates would be transported to the initial trial dungeon. Clearing it was mandatory to progress as a class holder. This dungeon represented his only chance. Red Star Group had a terrible local reputation, linked to dozens of suspicious deaths over recent months, and he would likely become their next target once outside school walls. He had to grow stronger quickly inside the trial. He had no money to buy gear, so he would rely entirely on trial, provided starting weapons. stack enough equipment bonuses, and everything would turn around. At that moment, a tall figure stepped through the classroom doorway. Zhang Jianlong wore mage robes, a floating grimoire hovering beside him, his gaze icy. Which one is Bai Zhe? The classroom fell dead silent. Everyone knew Zhang Jianlong was Zhang Shanhai's son, who had failed to obtain the exclusive summoner class, yet somehow gained a mage-type class through underhanded means. When no one answered, his expression darkened. Then he spotted the small skeleton beside Bai Zhe's feet. He burst into raucous laughter. Ha ha, is that your summon? He pointed at white, jade little skeleton, mocking Bai Zhe openly. You intend to forge your path as a class holder relying on that thing? Ridiculous. If I had gotten that S-grade class, I would contract an epic Tyrannosaurus beast. What a waste. His eyes dripped with contempt. That worthless summon will get you nowhere. You might as well give up being a class holder. Hearing the scornful words, white jade little skeleton drooped its skull and crouched on the floor, dejected. It understood human speech and knew how weak it was. Compared to the mighty, sounding Tyrannosaurus beast, it felt utterly inferior. Do not speak ill of my summon, Bai Zhe said coldly, picking up the little skeleton and holding it tight against his chest. Zhang Jianlong laughed all the louder. I originally came here to settle scores with you. Seeing your pathetic summon, though, I feel relieved. You will die inside the beginner dungeon without my lifting a finger, huh? He spun around and strode away, twirling his grimoire. No one in the classroom dared stand up for Bai Zhe. Everyone feared Red Star Group's vindictiveness. Not a single person offered comfort. Only quiet whispers and stifled giggles from a few female students broke the heavy silence. Bai Zhe held white jade little skeleton in his arms as the countdown finished. Enter initial dungeon? Bai Zhe's gaze sharpened. Yes. In an instant, he and the skeleton vanished from the classroom, along with several other students. When Bai Zhe opened his eyes again, he stood inside a pasture. Fresh grass filled the air. A gruff voice sounded behind him. New arrivals. Grab your starting weapons. He turned to see a cowboy hat, wearing NPC leaning on a pitchfork, with rows of weapons stacked behind him. This was the beginner trial dungeon. Every participant received one free starting weapon to begin fighting monsters. Bai Zhe wasted no time, walking over and picking up a plain iron greatsword. Plain iron greatsword starting gear quality. Common bonus, strength +3. Unremarkable, with no special effects, only a simple strength boost. He set it back down and picked up a plain iron shield. Plain iron shield starting gear quality. Common bonus, constitution +1. Every piece of beginner gear offered different stat increases. He handed the shield to white jade little skeleton. White jade little skeleton equipped plain iron shield. Constitution +1. Your talent activates. This equipment does not consume a slot. Unlimited equipping permitted. A triumphant smile spread across Bai Zhe's face. He cleared his throat, ignoring the NPC's confused stare, and handed over the greatsword next. White jade little skeleton equipped plain iron greatsword. Strength +3. Excitement surged through him. Unlimited equipment slots were everything. He grabbed a beginner longbow and passed it over. White jade little skeleton equipped beginner longbow. Agility +3. Seeing the NPC raise no objections, Bai Zhe began grabbing every weapon off the rack one after another and giving them to the skeleton. White jade little skeleton equipped plain iron greatsword. Strength +3. White jade little skeleton equipped plain iron shield. Constitution +1. More than 10 minutes passed. Bai Zhe was still busy stacking gear. Fortunately, equipment could turn intangible upon being equipped. Otherwise, the tiny skeleton would have been crushed under the weight. Bai Zhe kept one greatsword for himself. He had no idea how high the skeleton's stats had climbed, but he intended to keep collecting as much gear as he possibly could. He figured he was probably the strongest member of the newbie village. Stacking so many equipment stats, he would absolutely sweep the newbie village. Just then, the cowboy finally lost his temper. Stop that right now. How much have you taken? He roared in anger, staring at Bai Zhe in exasperation. Newbie white, grade gear was indeed useless. Nobody would buy it even if posted on the marketplace. That still didn't mean you could take an endless supply of it. Sorry, I just don't feel safe and wanted a few extra pieces. Bai Zhe quickly stopped and looked at the cowboy with an innocent expression. Seeing his innocent look only made the cowboy angrier. Will you cut it out? How much gear have you grabbed? Get out of here. My bad, I'm leaving right now. Bai Zhe smiled sheepishly, snatched up one more bow, and walked out with his little skeleton. The moment the two stepped outside, the cowboy slammed the ranch gate shut with a bang. What a cheapskate, Bai Zhe muttered under his breath, yet the grin on his face gave him away. He glanced at the little skeleton's stats. and they were utterly overpowered. More than 20 greatswords, over 20 shields, more than 20 bows, plus more than a dozen staves. All kinds of stacked stats had instantly turned the little skeleton into the strongest entity in the newbie village. Name: White. Jade Little Skeleton Level 1 Talent. White. Jade Reincarnation Constitution 220 Strength, 69 Agility, 75 Spirit, 52. Equipment: Newbie Shield times 23, Newbie Greatsword times 21, Newbie Bow times 23, Newbie Staff times 16 Skills. Big Head Charge LV1. Seeing these stats filled Baize with excitement. All of the little skeleton stats were shared with him. Name: Baize Level 10% Class. Devoted Summoner S. Can only contract one summon at a time. Shares all stats, skills, and equipment with the summon. Talent: Gear Master EX. Your summon possesses unlimited equipment slots. Constitution 238 Strength, 75 Agility, 81 Spirit, 58. Equipment: Newbie Shield times 23, Newbie Greatsword times 21, Newbie Bow times 23, Newbie Staff times 16 Summon. White. Jade Little Skeleton Unique. A whopping 200 plus Constitution points. Constitution governed a combatant's HP, stamina, endurance, and much more. It was an extremely valuable stat. Stats this high normally only belong to combatants above level 10, yet Baize and his summon already had them at level 1. The stat boost was already absurd, but Baize was even more astonished when he looked at his equipment list. As a devoted summoner, he shared everything with his summon, so every weapon the little skeleton carried was usable by him as well. He lifted his left hand casually, and a greatsword materialized in his grasp. Baize focused his thoughts and tested it. That piece of gear could not be equipped onto the summon, because this was only sharing, not copying another identical item. Even so, it was completely broken. Baize handed the bow back to the little skeleton, granting another +3 agility. White. Jade Little Skeleton has equipped Newbie Longbow. Agility +3. The little skeleton now held the Newbie Longbow. Short in stature, it looked cute yet ferocious, fully ready for battle. Goo Goo Gaga. Papa. Baize grew fonder of it by the second. He patted the skeleton's big head, and the two set off toward the monster plains beside the ranch. Thanks to the stat boost, Baize strode forward with powerful, steady steps. Gone was his former unsteady gait. Every muscle in his body hummed with raw strength. These were the benefits of raised attributes. Baize wore a bright smile. Mere newbie gear had brought such massive bonuses. If he got his hands on a few rare pieces, he would be practically unstoppable. Just then, lines of text appeared before his eyes. You have entered monster territory. Rooster Plains. Level range, 1 to 5. Monsters, Giant Rooster. Across the rolling plains and hills, roosters as large as wild boars wandered about, pecking at the ground. Their enormous size made Baize's heart skip a beat, but once he saw their stats, he relaxed completely. Giant Rooster. Level 1. Total Constitution, 12. These low-rank monsters only had 12 total Constitution. Back before his power up, both he and the skeleton would have had to fight a grueling battle. Things were very different now. Goo Goo Gaga. The little skeleton chirped sharply, drew its newbie longbow, and loosed an arrow toward one rooster. Whoosh. The arrow struck true. Without the slightest pause, the rooster died instantly. White. Jade Little Skeleton has slain Giant Rooster. EXP +100 inch. A system notification chimed. 69 points of strength meant every strike from the little skeleton dealt 69 damage. With only 12 constitution, the rooster could not hope to withstand it. With the first rooster dead, the others flew into a rage and charged over, clucking loudly. Yet Baize and his summon felt no fear. The little skeleton knocked arrows and fired volley after volley. Baize also raised his own bow. He shared the exact same stats as his summon, so he had nothing to fear. Human and summon both acted as archers, launching a coordinated assault on the rooster horde. With more than 200 constitution and 69 strength, he could have killed these monsters throwing stones. Arrows made short work of them. In less than 5 minutes, every low-level rooster lay defeated. At the same time, Baize leveled up. You have leveled up. Current level, 2 constitution +5 strength, +2 agility, +2 spirit, +2 inch. White. Jade Little Skeleton has leveled up. These small stat gains barely move the needle for them now. What Baize needed most was more equipment. All of a sudden, from deep within a huge haystack at the center of the plain, a massive rooster head burst forth and let out a deafening cry. Cock. A doodle-doo. A 3-meter tall crimson rooster stormed out. Its blood, red eyes locked onto the pair. Monster, red crest Rooster King level. 5 total constitution, 35 skills. Rooster King's roar, rhythmic battle cry. Newcomers who encountered this boss would normally flee unless they fought in a full 5-man party. Bai Zai, however, could not have cared less. Quite an imposing aura, but your stats are far too low. Bai Zai smiled faintly, lifted his longbow casually, and shot an arrow straight at the beast. Whoosh! The arrow buried itself in the Rooster King's chest and wiped its health bar in an instant. The Rooster King collapsed and dissolved into countless diamond-shaped wisps of light. Red crest Rooster King slain. EXP plus 1,500. Since this level 5 boss was far above his own level, the experience reward was substantial. Bai Zai estimated he still needed a little over 4,000 experience points to reach level 3. Nice work. Let's hunt higher, level mobs, and push straight to level 10. He clenched his fist. As he prepared to leave, the little skeleton tugged at his trouser leg. What is it? Bai Zai turned in confusion. Where the Rooster King had fallen, an item had dropped. He stepped forward and found a bright red hat topped with a fluffy crimson rooster comb. It looked rather charming. Rooster hat quality. Common stat bonuses. Constitution plus 5. His eyes lit up, and he picked it up. Though only common grade, it outperformed regular newbie gear by a solid margin, granting 2 extra stat points. Bai Zai chuckled, knelt down like a doting father, and placed the rooster hat atop the skeleton's big head. White. Jade little skeleton has equipped rooster hat. Constitution plus 5. Your constitution plus 5. After equipping it, his eyes lit up. Not bad. It looks pretty cute on you. The little skeleton had disliked the bright red hat at first, but upon hearing Bai Zai's compliment, it shyly covered its eye sockets. Goo goo gaga, the little skeleton chirped. Bai Zai could not understand what it was trying to say. Let's move on to the next area. Bai Zai laughed heartily and scanned the rest of the newbie instance. This instance contained more than just level 1 to 5 monsters. There were zones for level 5 to 10 and level 10 to 15 as well. Judging by his current constitution and strength, Bai Zai could probably challenge the hardest level, 10 to 15 zone. To play it safe, though, he would start with level 5 to 10. He preferred steady, reliable progress. Before long, Bai Zai and the little skeleton bypassed the spider plains with its level 1 to 5 foes and arrived at Thunder Monkey Ridge. You have entered monster territory, Thunder Monkey Ridge. Level range, 5 to 10. Monsters, Thunder Monkey. Thunder Monkeys did not have overwhelming base stats, but they boasted high agility and could unleash electric attacks. None of that posed any threat to Bai Zai. He and the little skeleton possessed over 70 agility, while the monkeys only sat around 30. He confidently knocked an arrow when a faint gust of wind brushed past his back. The next instant, crack! A bolt of blue lightning slammed into Bai Zai's back. He barely felt it, only a faint tingling sensation. Oh, it seems the Thunder Monkeys lack enough power to break through my defense. Realizing this, Bai Zai stopped evading entirely. He stood rooted in place, drawing and firing arrows non-stop. The little skeleton did the same. Neither bothered to move, just shot their bows. Normal players needed at least 3 people working in constant hit and run tactics to kill these monkeys. For Bai Zai, they were nothing more than easy prey to farm. Thunder Monkey slain. EXP plus 1,200. Thunder Monkey slain. EXP plus 1,300. You have leveled up. Current level, 3 Constitution plus 5 Strength, plus 2 Agility, plus 2 Spirit, plus 2 Inch, both of them leveled up again. At that moment, a huge golden ape burst out from the trees. Trees creaked and shook, dirt flying across the ground. Standing 3 meters tall, the great golden ape's fur bristled. Tiny golden sparks crackled in its clenched fists. Before it could strike, the little skeleton charged forward and slammed its big head straight into the ape's knee. Big head charge. Its round skull connected with terrifying speed. A massive damage number popped up. 123. The ape lost most of its health in one blow. Bai Zai followed up with an arrow and erased its remaining health. The ape froze, then dissolved into drifting diamond-shaped wisps of light. Level 10 Thunder Ape Boss slain. EXP plus 13,000. That single boss filled 42% of Bai Zai's experience bar. He would hit level 4 before long. When the boss vanished, a glowing yellow item lay on the ground. The little skeleton picked it up and hurried over to hand it to Bai Zai. Thunderblade quality, rare stat bonuses, strength plus 10, agility plus 15 special effect. Basic attacks deal an extra 30% lightning damage. This damage can chain to 3 additional targets. 6 second cooldown. Bai Zai's eyes lit up when he took hold of the blade. This was genuine rare, great equipment. Baize knew 7 equipment tiers: Common, Rare, Epic, Hero, Obsidian, Mystic, and Primeval. A regular rare piece normally sold for roughly 10,000 star credits. With its special effect, this Thunderblade was worth even more. White. Jade Little Skeleton has equipped Thunderblade. Strength plus 10, Agility plus 15. Your Strength plus 10, Agility plus 15. Yes, Baize beamed. This weapon pushed his combat power to a whole new tier. Because Thunderblade resided in an equipment slot, its special effect still activated no matter what weapon he actually wielded. Baize raised his bow and shot an arrow toward a thunder monkey perched in a distant tree. Sure enough, crackle. Golden lightning burst across the monkey's body. Even stored in the equipment slot, Thunderblade's effect still triggered. That was seriously overpowered. So as long as the summon has a piece of gear in its equipment slots, its special effects stay active even if we don't wield it. Baize's eyes sparkled. This was incredibly good news. Go. Draw aggro. He patted the little skeleton's big head. The skeleton understood at once and scurried through the woods, drawing the monkey's attention. In barely 5 minutes, 5 or 6 thunder monkeys chased after it, lightning popping against the ground. Baize drew his bow and shot one of the monkeys. Swish! The moment the arrow landed, golden lightning jumped from target to target across the monkey pack. The other monkeys had not been directly struck, yet the chain lightning reduced them all to corpses. Right after that strike, Baize leveled up yet again. You have leveled up. Current level. For 1.3% Constitution plus 6 Strength plus 3 Agility plus 3 Spirit plus 3 inch. Leveling up felt wonderful. His cells hummed with fresh energy, and power surged through his whole body. His stats had grown substantially, and his strength kept climbing. Name. Baize level. For 1. 3% class. Devoted Summoner S. Can only contract one summon at a time. Shares all stats, skills, and equipment with the summon talent. Gear Master EX. Your summon possesses unlimited equipment slots. Constitution, 263 Strength, 90 Agility, 107 Spirit, 65. Equipment, Thunderblade times 1, Rooster Hat times 1, Newbie Shield times 23, Newbie Greatsword times 21, Newbie Bow times 23, Newbie Staff times 16. Summon. White. Jade Little Skeleton unique. Baize's stats were comparable to a level 13, 14 combatant, and he had not even reached his limit. Gear Master imposed no upper bound. Perfect. Time for the level 10 to 15 zone. Just as he spoke, a flicker of obsidian light caught his eye deep within some bushes. The little skeleton caught Baize's meaning at once. It rushed over and dragged a large dark object out of the undergrowth. When Baize saw what it was, his eyes went wide. Where did that treasure chest come from? Overjoyed, he hurried forward to examine the iron, black chest. Its surface was deep jet black, radiating an air of grim grandeur. Treasure chest tiers went common, iron, black, silver, gold, diamond, star, glimmer. Baize had never heard of tiers above star, glimmer. An iron, black chest was quite valuable, normally worth around 20,000 star credits. Baize had no intention of selling it. He wanted whatever gear lay inside. He stepped forward and opened it. The chest shell dissolved into streams of light, leaving only a sky blue book floating in its place. Skill book. Toxin Art Quality. Rare. 6. Star Effect. Spend 1 spirit point to imbue basic attacks with poison. Poisoned enemies lose 10 HP per second. Stacks up to 10 times. Poison lasts for a maximum of 20 seconds. Whoa! Reading the description took Baize aback. Skills use the same quality tiers as equipment, with internal star, rank subdivisions from 1 to 9. Higher stars meant greater power. This Toxin Art sat at Rare. 6. Star, a very solid skill, and its mechanics were frightening. Each poison tick drained 10 HP, stacked 10 times. That became 100 HP lost every second for up to 20 seconds. Baize mentally calculated. He only needed to land 10 basic attacks within 20 seconds to max out the stacks. Without hesitation, he took the skill book and slapped it hard against the little skeleton's skull. Smack! A sharp crack echoed as the book dissolved into light and merged into the skeleton's body. White. Jade Little Skeleton has learned skill, Toxin Art. You have learned skill, Toxin Art. The true terror of the devoted summoner class revealed itself at last. Baize never needed to learn skills personally. He could feed them all to his summon, and they would still be shared. This mechanic was absolutely broken. The stronger the little skeleton grew, the stronger Baize became. After learning the skill, he patted the skeleton's big head, and the two headed toward the level 10 to 15 zone. Grinding monsters grew repetitive at times, yet for Baize it was a blessing. The Red Star group out in the city would not let him go so easily. The whole awakened world teemed with danger, and monsters frequently broke loose inside city limits. Only true strength would let him survive safely in Apocalypse City. Power bought peace of mind and kept danger at bay. Lost in these thoughts, they traveled roughly 2 kilometers and reached the deepest section of the newbie instance. Only 2 level 10 to 15 areas existed inside this instance: Scarlet Serpent Gorge and Black Bear Mountain. Most ordinary combatants never dared challenge level 10 to 15 zones inside the newbie trial. They would clear level 5 to 10 content and finish their initiation. Only those with S rank or higher starting classes dared venture into Scarlet Serpent Gorge and Black Bear Mountain. Just like Baizé, let's clear Scarlet Serpent Gorge first, then Black Bear Mountain. Snakes have lower health pools. Once we've leveled up, we can tackle the tougher bears. Baizé made up his mind and stepped into Scarlet Serpent Gorge with the little skeleton. You have entered monster territory, Scarlet Serpent Gorge. Level range, 10 to 15. Monsters, Scarlet Serpent, mutated Scarlet Serpent. Warning, your level is too low. Great danger awaits in this area. Proceed with extreme caution. Baizé ignored the warning completely and advanced deep into the zone. All of a sudden, 3 stumbling figures came staggering toward him. He tried to step out of the way, but it was too late. They ran straight into him. Huh? Who are you? One of them lifted his eyes and stared at Baizé in surprise. Everyone who came here traveled in parties. Nobody expected to see someone alone. That uniform. You're from Apocalypse Number 3 Academy, aren't you? Hand over all your loot, and you can walk away. A red-haired boy sneered and pointed a dagger toward Baizé. The other 2 said nothing, yet their gazes turned cold. Killing for loot was common in this world, even among newly awakened combatants. Easy profit with little risk, why would they pass it up? You 3 look poisoned. Still feeling bold even in your state, Baizé lifted his bow with a calm expression. The trio lusted after his gear, yet he eyed their equipment right back. Baizé scanned them quickly. Those 3 carried at least 5 pieces of usable gear between them. I'm gonna get rich. You gonna get rich? Boy, are you still daydreaming? The red-haired youth let out a cold snort and raised his crimson, black longbow, aiming it right at Baizé. But before he could react, the little skeleton loosed an arrow straight away, striking him dead, on in the knee. Whoosh. One shot, target eliminated in an instant. The moment the man died, a streak of golden lightning pierced through the 2 men behind him, dealing massive damage at the same time. The hair of the 2 accomplices standing back there stood straight on end, scorched and charred by the lightning. Even though the golden lightning only dealt 30% of its full damage, it still stripped 80% of the remaining 2 men's health bars. Baizé and his beast companion boasted such overpowered stats that they were practically unbeatable within the starting village. Wait, hold on. The lead youth waved his hands in terror, stumbling backward, but Baizé showed them no mercy. He loosed arrow after arrow and picked them off one by one. Death inside the instance meant real death, with no game, like respawn mechanics. Still, the 3 men dissolved into streaks of light once their health hit 0. Seeing this, Baizé felt no discomfort at all. Instead, a surge of triumph welled up inside him. Right where the 3 had fallen, 3 skull-shaped chests materialized. This was the most distinctive mechanic of this job. Change world. Loot boxes spawned on death. When a job holder perished, a wooden chest would appear on the spot, holding everything the victim had owned in life. Baizé walked over brimming with excitement and opened the red-haired youth's chest first. Inside lay a crimson, black bow alongside a white breastplate. Unfortunately, both were common, grade items worth next to nothing. The second chest contained a pair of gauntlets, also plain and low value. It was only when he opened the third chest that Baizé's eyes lit up. Resting inside was a broad greatsword of rare quality, complete with a special effect. Mountain, C greatsword quality, rare stat bonuses, plus 20 strength special effect. Upon taking enemy damage, gain a shield equal to 8% of your own constitution. Baizé picked up the blade. It felt solid, a passive defensive type effect too. He gathered up the great sword and the rest of the loot, equipping piece after piece onto the little skeleton. White Jade Little Skeleton has equipped Mountain, C greatsword, white breastplate, black rhinoceros bow, and dog hide gauntlets, plus 43 strength, plus 15 constitution, plus 15 agility, plus 5 spirit. You gain plus 43 strength, plus 15 constitution, plus 15 agility, plus 5 spirit. A surge of amplified power washed over him. Baizé's combat strength grew substantially. Constitution, 278 strength, 133 agility, 122 spirit. 70 his strength had soared to an astonishing 133 points. Stats on this level let him run rampant all across the starting village. Yet Baize was far from satisfied. His levels still needed raising. Time to keep grinding. I won't head out until I hit level 10. Having made up his mind, Baize stepped into Red Serpent Valley together with the little skeleton. Inside the valley, hordes of red serpent monsters surged forth, closing in on them from every direction. Red Serpent level, 10 overall constitution, 122. Even as ordinary mobs, these level 10 serpents held roughly 122 health points. For most job holders, taking one down required coordinated teamwork of several people. Baize faced no such trouble. The little skeleton knocked an arrow and let it fly. 135. A damage reading of 135. Out. Leveling the foe by 6 levels, it shot the level 10 monster outright. Red Serpent slain. Experience plus 6,300. Red Serpent slain. Experience plus 6,300. He simply let the little skeleton hold the line. Baize did not need to lift a finger. He stood idly by, watching his companion clear out the area. One red serpent died after another, and Baize's experience bar rocketed upward. Only 6 minutes passed before he leveled up again, reaching level 5. Barely 1 hour had gone by since he entered the instance. Ordinarily, job holders would top out at level 5 to 6 inside the starting instance. Baize had pulled off that feat in a single hour. He still had an entire day ahead to farm levels. Baize was confident he would make it to level 10 for sure. Just then, nearly all the serpents within Red Serpent Valley had been wiped out. From the valley's center came the grinding crash of rubble being crushed. Plants trembled all around. 50 meters away, a gigantic crimson python as thick as a water barrel came charging. Its eyes burned blood red, and a large level 15 marker hovered above its head. Baize's pupils shrank. This boss was no trivial foe. Iron tier boss, Red Serpent King level, 15 overall constitution, 622. Bosses came in tiers. Common bosses bore no rank at all. The Red Serpent King outclassed regular bosses, ranking as Iron tier. Its 622 overall stat alone made it clear this foe was far too dangerous for ordinary job holders to challenge. Even so, it still posed no real threat to Baize. He raised his bow casually and opened fire alongside the little skeleton. Poison Art. Both of them activated the Poison Art skill simultaneously. Once the arrows landed, the Red Serpent King lost 300 health instantly and took 20 ongoing poison damage each tick. Stacking poison was hardly even necessary. Baize and his companion loosed another pair of arrows. Struck by this blow, the Red Serpent King halted 10 meters away from them. Its massive body began to crumble. Red Serpent King slain. Experience plus 23,000. A boss that spelled utter doom for most people could not even last 3 seconds against Baize. Where the boss collapsed, a crimson wristband materialized. He hurried over and picked it up. Red Serpent wristband quality. Rare stat bonuses, plus 40 agility. A heavily specialized rare, grade piece with no extra special effect, yet granting a whopping 40 points of agility. White Jade Little Skeleton has equipped Red Serpent wristband. Agility plus 40, you gain plus 40 agility. 40 extra points of agility coursed through him. Baize felt light-footed, far more nimble than before. At that moment, the little skeleton pointed toward a pitch-black cave opening in the distance and let out low croaks. Goo-ga-ga. What is it? Baize patted its head and peered ahead. Baby red serpents kept crawling out of the cave, rapidly maturing into full-grown red serpent mobs. Oh, this spawn point works differently. A thought dawned on Baize. He picked up a wooden stick and jabbed at one of the young serpents. Red Serpent Monster Slain. Experience plus 4,320. Even these underdeveloped young snakes give their own separate experience. He stared at the cave and the endless stream of serpents pouring out. A plan quickly formed in his mind. Instead of trekking all the way over to Black Bear Ridge, he could simply camp this spawn point to farm experience fast. He poked the stick deep into the cave. Endless experience gain notifications kept ringing in his ears. Red Serpent Monster Slain. Experience plus 4,655. Red Serpent Monster Slain. Experience plus 4,655. Red Serpent Valley was notoriously lethal, one place nobody dared linger in. Yet here lay a hidden shortcut. Baize had hit the jackpot. In little more than 10 minutes, he climbed straight to level 7. Right then, the entire Red Serpent Valley began to shake for no obvious reason. A low, rumbling hiss echoed out of the small cavern, brimming with smoldering fury. Warning! You have Enraged Boss, Serpent Elder. Option available. Exit the instance immediately. Sharp warning alerts blared inside his head. Boom. A deafening detonation burst forth, pounding against Baizay's eardrums. The ground exploded apart, sending boulders and dirt rolling everywhere. Through clouds of yellow dust loomed a colossal serpent standing nearly 10 meters tall, its frame broad as a rock formation. Worse still, from within the haze came spoken words. Mortal job. Holder, why slay my children and kin? The serpent's form came fully into view. Dark, red scales covered its terrifying body. Its level marker read the starting village cap of level 15, and its rank was exceptionally high. Silver, tier boss, Serpent Elder level, 15 overall constitution, 3200. A silver, tier boss inside the humble starting village completely rewrote Baizay's expectations. Before he could process this, the massive monster charged straight at him. Its blood, red bulk crashed forward like a concrete truck. Baizay dodged with a quick sidestep, raised his bow, and shot an arrow in return. Whoosh. 312. As soon as his arrow hit, the white jade little skeleton fired from afar. Both shots landed true. Powered by overwhelming stats, their sharp arrows pierced the Serpent Elder's flesh and inflicted grievous wounds. Even with its constitution above 3,000, Baizay's over-geared duo could still fight it. Curse you! The Serpent Elder roared and spat blazing crimson fireballs, sweeping across the surroundings. Rocks melted into molten slag, and every plant burned to ash. Baizay's agility stat was extremely high, though. He and the white jade little skeleton fought while retreating. In under 20 seconds, they landed 2 more rounds of attacks. By this point, the Serpent Elder's health had dropped below 1,400, and poison damage continued to chip it away every second. 60, 60, 60, 60 health lost each second. Tormented by poison, the Serpent Elder flew into a frenzy. It tried to yank the arrows stuck in its body, only to get hit twice more. I will destroy you both. Completely enraged, the giant serpent lashed out with its enormous tail and smashed it against the little skeleton's skull. The little skeleton went spinning through the air, but landed back on its feet at once, already knocking another arrow. The white jade little skeleton had absorbed close to 100 pieces of equipment, more than 70 in total. Most were low grade, yet they stacked its constitution enormously. Both Baizay and his summon now boasted constitution comparable to a level 15 tank build. A blow or two barely hurt them. Seeing this, despair washed over the Serpent Elder. Its huge body thrashed wildly through the valley, yet it could never catch up with its targets. Relying on superior agility, Baizay and the skeleton kept kiting. 30 seconds later, they finally finished off the Serpent Elder. Rumble. The colossal serpent crashed heavily onto the valley floor before dissolving into streaks of light and vanishing. Silver, tier boss Serpent Elder slain. Experience plus 110,000. You have leveled up to 9. Constitution, 278, 309 strength, 133, 148 agility, 162, 170 spirit, 70, 82. The stat gains from leveling felt negligible to Baizay. Gear remained his top priority. Where the boss had perished, a sky blue treasure chest materialized. Baizay's eyes lit up. He had never seen a chest of this color before. He hurried forward to examine it. Choice chest quality, epic description, contains 3 types of rewards. You may pick 2. I've struck it rich. Heart racing with excitement, Baizay slowly opened the chest. 3 options appeared before him. Epic 3, Star Skill Book, Blazing Flame Shot 2. Rare, Grade, Serpent Elder Set 3. Summon, Serpent Elder Hatchling. Baizay glanced at the options. The decision was obvious. He picked the first and second choices. As a dedicated summoner bound to only one summon, a second companion held no value for him. Skill Book, Blazing Flame Shot Quality, Epic 3, Star Effect. Spend 20 spirit to launch a fire shot dealing 210% of your strength as damage. If the target is wood, element, or water, element, damage rises to 300%. Cooldown, 30 seconds. Taking down a silver tier boss really pays off. Baizay was overjoyed. This Epic 3 star skill packed immense power and carried elemental bonuses against wood and water foes. Its 30-second cooldown was quite long, though. He would likely get only 1 use per fight. Still, it was excellent. He slapped the skill book onto the little skeleton's skull. The summon learned the ability instantly. White Jade Little Skeleton has learned skill. Blazing Flame Shot. You have learned skill. Blazing Flame Shot. Baizay chuckled, relishing his overpowered run. Next he brought out the Serpent Elder set. Rare, Grade gear almost never came in sets, yet the Serpent Elder, the instance's Soul Silver tier boss, dropped a full set of its own. The chest lid swung open, revealing black, red plate armor, boots, breastplate, greaves, and helmet, with no accompanying weapon. Serpent Elder set quality, rare stat bonuses, plus 100 constitution, plus 40 strength, plus 20 agility, plus 20 spirit special effect. Weapon assimilation. Your next basic attack after casting a skill deals 60% increased damage. Cooldown, 3 seconds. Without hesitation, Baizé equipped the complete set onto the Little Skeleton. White Jade Little Skeleton has equipped Serpent Elder set. Plus 100 constitution, plus 40 strength, plus 20 agility, plus 20 spirit. You gain plus 100 constitution, plus 40 strength, plus 20 agility, plus 20 spirit. Baizé's character sheet underwent a massive overhaul. With this set equipped, both Master and Summon surged drastically in power. Name: Baizé. Level 9. 2.9% class. Dedicated Summoner S. May contract only one summon at a time. Share all stats, skills, and equipment with your summon. Talent: Gear Master EX. Your summon possesses unlimited equipment slots. Constitution: 409 strength, 188 agility, 190 spirit, 102 skills. Poison Art: Blazing Flame Shot equipment. Serpent Elder set, Thunderblade ×1, Chick Hat ×1 summon. White Jade Little Skeleton, unique. His constitution crossed the 400 threshold, and every single stat now sat above 100 points. Baizé checked the time. Roughly 3 hours had passed since he entered the instance. He was already level 9. 9 full hours still remained before the starting instance would close. Next stop, Black Bear Ridge, Baizé thought. Plenty of time was left. His stats had skyrocketed. Feeling no fatigue, he aimed to push all the way to level 10. Once he left the instance, Red Star Group would be waiting. If they learned he had survived the trial, they would not let him go easily. With that thought, he set off toward Black Bear Ridge. The journey was fairly long, so he climbed and sat atop the White Jade Little Skeleton's head. After hitting level 9, the Little Skeleton's frame had grown sturdier, standing 1.5 meters tall with thicker, heavier bones. Yet it still retained its goofy, dim-witted look. Goo gaga, woo woo woo. The Little Skeleton let out whining croaks, protesting against Baizé riding on top of its head. Objection overruled. We're partners, aren't we? Once we finish clearing Black Bear Ridge, I'll let you ride me instead. Baizé waved his hand casually. The Little Skeleton froze. Its big hollow eyes stared blankly at Baizé, already looking forward to getting its turn. Riding the Little Skeleton, Baizé traveled toward Black Bear Ridge at a leisurely pace. Once the 12-hour starting trial concluded, an ultimate trial would unlock. Generally speaking, level 5 was sufficient to attempt it, and teams of 5 would clear it together. Baizé no longer needed teammates, though. His stats outmatched most level 18 and 19 job holders by a wide margin. Thanks to solo grinding, he had already reached level 9 and would soon hit level 10. Up ahead within the gray-black mountain range of Black Bear Ridge, numerous novice job holders wandered in and out. Everyone knew Black Bear Ridge was far easier than Red Serpent Valley. Hardly anyone ventured into Red Serpent Valley, so most new players farmed bears here. Baizé spotted several familiar classmates, including Zhang Jinlong. Zhang Jinlong traveled with half a dozen followers of decent strength. His allies weakened bears for him, and he landed the killing blows to reap experience. That was the privilege of wealth. Hostility stirred inside Baizé. Back in the classroom, Zhang Jinlong had mocked him openly, yet he had definitely wanted Baizé dead. Having drawn only an A rank mage class instead of an S rank, he must burn with jealousy. Baizé decided to strike first. Too many people milled about Black Bear Ridge, however. He could not slaughter dozens of witnesses. Explaining himself afterward would prove impossible. Frowning, Baizé hid his level display. He and the Little Skeleton advanced slowly. Several players currently fighting bears turned their heads as he arrived. Oh, it's Baizé. Want to join our party and grind mobs together? A crew-cut classmate called out with a grin. He had entered the instance earlier and knew nothing of what had happened back in the classroom. Don't invite him. His summon looks really weak. He'll just drag the whole team down, a girl whispered nearby. Hearing this, the young man awkwardly dropped the idea and returned to fighting monsters. Zhang Jinlong and his group caught sight of Baizé too and grew interested. Hey, hiding your level? Are you still stuck at level 1? Zhang Jinlong jeered. Though he smiled, cold malice glinted in his eyes. Killing Baizé inside the instance ought to carry no real consequences. Why not just as Zhang Jinlong entertained that thought? An earth shaking roar boomed from the heart of Black Bear Ridge. Roar! The bear's roar echoed across the mountainside. Seconds later, 5 or 6 figures sprinted frantically away from the valley. Zhang Jinlong abandoned his murderous schemes and fled as well. Thanks to Kill, stealing with his party, he had hit level 5, yet his overall constitution barely scraped past 30 points. He dared not stand against the Black Bear King. The rest of the novice job holders fared even worse. Upon hearing the roar, they turned and ran for their lives. This top-tier iron-tier boss of the starting village was far too dangerous for ordinary job holders, save for full S-rank squads. Everyone scrambled backward. Only Bai Zhe stood calmly, gazing toward the enormous beast charging his way. Is this guy out of his mind? Zhang Jinlong glanced back, utterly baffled, then ran without looking again. The rest reacted the same way. Almost every other person had fled the area. High up on a ridge 100 meters away, a girl in a Lolita-style dress watched intently. He isn't running? How reckless. Su Qingqing stared at Bai Zhe in disbelief. She had never seen such stubborn behavior from a job holder. Even she would struggle against this iron-tier bear boss and would need her party's support. Bai Zhe, by all logic, would get trampled without effort. While Su Qingqing kept observing, the little skeleton beside Bai Zhe moved. This time, it did not draw its bow. It stowed its weapon and stretched out its pale bony palms toward the Black Bear King. Just finish it off. Bears are wood element, after all. Bai Zhe spoke casually, and his words carried hundreds of meters to Su Qingqing, who heard them clearly. At once, she thought this fellow had lost his mind. One-shot kill? Kill who? Su Qingqing shot to her feet. The next second, something extraordinary unfolded. From the small skeleton's hand coalesced a crimson fireball, which slammed straight into the Black Bear King's face. Bang! 564. A single strike dealt 564 damage. The Black Bear King's head was blown clean through, and its massive body crashed to the ground from inertia, rolling twice before coming to a halt. Moments later, the great bear's form dissolved into light, leaving a silver-ranked treasure chest where it had stood. Black Bear Boss Slain. Experience plus 63,000 current experience bar. 52%. Su Qingqing was utterly stunned. She stared disbelievingly at the spot where the bear had fallen, finding the whole scene absurd. In her understanding, this black, iron rank boss from the newbie village required an S-rank 5-person team to wear it down over a full half-hour of combat. Yet in Bai Zhe's hands, the fight was over in a single blow. Over 500 damage. There's no way he's level 20. The trial has barely been running for 5 hours. Su Qingqing's throat went dry, and her mind reeled. She wore a full set of gear, possessed several consumables, and plenty of healing potions. Even so, she could not claim to one-shot the Black Bear King. It would still take her at least 5 or 6 minutes to bring it down. One conclusion solidified in her mind. He must be a genius, class professional. Su Qingqing's eyes lit up. In this era, resources were abundant, yet genuine geniuses were exceedingly rare. The Su family was a top-tier clan in Magic Capital, but only her father qualified as a genius. If she could bring Bai Zhe under their banner, I have to move fast. Geniuses grow extremely quickly. I need to reach him without delay. With that thought, Su Qingqing hurried downhill. Meanwhile, Bai Zhe opened the silver-ranked treasure chest. A polished silver chainmail appeared in his hands, finely crafted. Silver chainmail rank. Rare stat bonuses. Constitution plus 40, Strength plus 10. Special effect. Gain 20% fortitude. Reduce crowd. Control duration by 20%. Bai Zhe glanced over it. The armor was quite solid. Its crowd control reduction made it a very useful rare-grade piece. Unfortunately, no epic-grade gear dropped in the newbie instance. He would have to wait for the ultimate trial 12 hours from now. With that, he slapped the chainmail onto the small skeleton's forehead. Jade. White small skeleton has equipped silver chainmail. Constitution plus 40, Strength plus 10. Your Constitution plus 40, Strength plus 10. Equipped, its power surged further. Just then, Bai Zhe noticed a graceful figure approaching with quick light steps, holding a business card. Hello, my name is Su Qingqing. I am from Magic Capital's Su Group. Bai Zhe took the card instinctively and tucked it away in his robe. Oh, hello. It's a pleasure to meet you. Bai Zhe nodded politely. The girl wore a full set of gear whose rank could not be seen, yet faint light shimmered off it. It was undoubtedly extremely valuable. He had heard of Su Group, a dominant power across Magic Capital. Her identity was most likely genuine. Would you mind teaming up with me for the upcoming ultimate trial? If you can get me through it, we could establish a long-term partnership. Bai Zhe understood immediately. She must have witnessed the earlier fight, otherwise she would never have proposed this. He considered his position. Though far stronger than professionals of his level, he still stood no chance against the Zhang clan of Red Star Group. It would be wise to leverage her influence. At the very least, it would guarantee his safety once they exited the instance. There was no point in stubborn self-reliance. A wise man used every advantage available to climb higher, and Bai Zhe was no fool. That works. What sort of compensation are you offering? Bai Zhe replied calmly, looking expectantly at Su Qingqing. Compensation? Name whatever you want. Su Qingqing answered generously. Money meant little to her. Her priority was building a connection with Bai Zhe. No need to be so formal. We can settle that after clearing the trial. Bai Zhe waved his hand, feigning nonchalance. Under his commands, the small skeleton began hunting black bears throughout the valley. Bai Zhe stood nearby, passively gaining experience and waiting for his level to rise. Su Qingqing watched the skeleton with bright eyes. This summon was nothing like an ordinary familiar. It vastly outperformed epic rank summons, bordering on heroic rank. Their grinding speed was terrifying. Bears spawned only to be slain instantly, one after another. In little more than half an hour, Bai Zhe leveled up once more, reaching level 10. At level 10, he could equip epic grade gear and items. Anticipation stirred within him. Yet experience requirements grew steeply from here onward. Leveling would become far more difficult. Su Qingqing could hold back no longer. She stepped forward. May I join your party first? I want to earn some experience too. I'm only level 5 right now. I also have plenty of items, equipment, and potions I can offer you. Bai Zhe glanced at her in surprise. Do you have any epic grade equipment? Yes. Su Qingqing answered at once. Instead of drawing items from her spatial bracelet, she pulled out her phone and tapped furiously at the screen. All right, pick whichever you like. I'll purchase it right away. Bai Zhe stared in shock. Wow, wealthy people really operate on another level. He leaned over to look at the shopping link displayed on her screen. It was the Professionals Mall. Once purchased, gear and supplies could be teleported directly to one's location. This convenience stemmed from ancient research, said to be the work of a time-space affinity professional whose identity had long been lost to history. Countless epic, grade pieces of equipment filled the screen. Ordinary gear cost 3 to 4,000 star yuan. Rare, rank gear ran 10 to 20,000. Epic, rank pieces ranged from 50,000 to 100,000 star yuan. Every item Su Qingqing displayed exceeded 100,000 star yuan. She was being thoroughly generous. I'll buy you a sword and a shield. Consider it payment for carrying me through the grind in the upcoming instance. To Su Qingqing, spending 200,000 star yuan was trivial. Investing in a promising future powerhouse was what truly mattered. Before Bai Zhe could react, Su Qingqing completed the purchase. 2 spheres of light materialized before them. As purple radiance faded, 2 pieces of equipment came into view. Dragon King Sword rank, epic stat bonuses, strength plus 100, spirit plus 100. Special effect, every third basic attack guarantees a critical strike. Benevolent King Shield rank, epic stat bonuses, constitution plus 210. Special effect, reduce incoming physical damage by 25%. 2 epic grade items. Bai Zhe had hoped to obtain at most 1 epic piece from the ultimate trial, yet here they were handed to him ahead of time. His eyes trembled. Leaning on others' resources sure saved a great deal of trouble. Going it alone was far too grueling. Equip them quickly. Offense and defense combined. You will be unstoppable. Su Qingqing urged cheerfully. Bai Zhe nodded, picked up the 2 items, and slapped them onto the small skeleton's forehead. Jade. White small skeleton has equipped Dragon King Sword and Benevolent King Shield. Constitution plus 210, strength plus 100, spirit plus 100. Your constitution plus 210, strength plus 100, spirit plus 100. With 2 epic grade pieces equipped, Bai Zhe's combat power surged by leaps and bounds. His stats climbed to astonishing heights. Name, Bai Zhe level, 1073% class. Exclusive Summoner S talent. Gear Master EX. Constitution, 659 strength, 298 agility, 190 spirit, 202 skills. Toxin Arts, Crimson Fireball. Gear, Dragon King Sword, Benevolent King Shield, Serpent Earl Set, Silver Chain Mail, Shockblade, Chick Hat. Summon, Jade, White Small Skeleton Unique. His stats at level 10 rivaled those of a level 20 professional. His overpowered build showed its full potential. Su Qingqing caught on. Why did you give the equipment to your summon? Are you? Bai Zhe nodded. I am an exclusive summoner. Enough talk. Let's start farming mobs. Su Qingqing asked no further questions. The small skeleton shot them a wordless, exasperated glance before knocking its bow again. Their arrows had mostly been depleted over the past few hours. Now the skeleton would have to fight with its newly obtained Dragon King sword. The skeleton grumbled inwardly. If it were not for Baize trying to maintain a good impression on the girl, it would have rammed him over with its skull. For now, it would play along. The skeleton charged into the black bear horde and began slaughtering. Every bear that spawned died instantly. Both their experience bars rose steadily, while only the skeleton bore all the fighting work, growing inwardly resentful. Wow, it kills so fast. Your summon is incredible. Su Qingqing clapped her hands, eyes sparkling with admiration. 2 hours passed. Through non-stop grinding, Su Qingqing reached level 7, and Baize climbed to level 11. Puffed up by the young woman's praise, the skeleton struck a few boastful poses, though Su Qingqing did not notice. Haha, naturally. My summon is extraordinary. And what is more, I am even stronger than it. Baize boasted proudly. Goo gaga. Mid-sentence, a clump of bear dung plopped down from above and smacked squarely onto Baize's head. Su Qingqing burst out laughing. Baize glared at the skeleton. You little rascal. Are you rebelling? Goo gaga. Baize told himself he ought not to quarrel with his loyal companion over a girl, so he held back his anger. He joined the skeleton in hunting, steadily raising both their levels. Several decent pieces of gear dropped, all of which he equipped on the skeleton. Their overall stats climbed even higher. Some 3 hours later, Baize called a halt to the fighting. Su Qingqing was now level 8, and Baize had reached level 12. Level, gap experience bonuses had vanished upon hitting this threshold. Our levels are sufficient. Time for the ultimate trial. Baize waved a hand. To hit level 12 within the newbie instance was almost certainly unprecedented. Alright, let me get ready. Take these recovery potions. Su Qingqing pulled several health and spirit, restoring potions from her bracelet, and handed them over. Then she readied her own equipment. Her full set of rare, grade gear put her far above average professionals. Being rich sure is nice, Baize muttered. A system announcement echoed across the instance. Ultimate trial instance opening in 10 minutes. Please prepare yourselves. Neither spoke further as they waited for the countdown to end. 10 minutes later, their vision blurred. When their senses returned, Baize found himself inside a vast white hall. More than 20 other newbie professionals had gathered there. The hall hummed with noisy chatter. All eyes drifted toward Zhang Jianlong. He sat arrogantly among the crowd, a bright, glowing 7 floating above his head. Nearly everyone else stood at level 3 to 5, with 5 being the highest besides him. To reach level 7 inside the newbie instance represented S rank aptitude, placing him above 95% of all new professionals. Onlookers crowded around him. Amazing. Can we team up for the ultimate trial? The instance allows 5-person parties. Please take me along. You set a record. Only top talents from Magic Capital and the capital city ever hit level 7 in the newbie trial. Zhang Jianlong laughed heartily at the flattery. Level 7 is nothing special. I'll breeze through the ultimate trial. Any ladies want to join my party? His laughter died abruptly when he spotted an 8 floating above someone else. His smile froze. He followed the number to Su Qingqing's face. He recalled his father's instructions. Red Star Group had learned that the Su family's young heiress would participate in the Tianqi City newbie trial. Forming a connection with her could help expand Red Star Group's influence beyond the city. Driven by ambition and admiration for her looks, Zhang Jianlong strode forward. Greetings. I am Zhang Jianlong from Red Star Group. He smiled politely and held out his hand for a handshake. Su Qingqing only glanced coldly at him and ignored the gesture. Undaunted, Zhang Jianlong spoke loudly. Miss, you are level 8, and I am level 7. We are the 2 strongest here. If we team up, we could break the instance record. Record, breaking grants special rewards. Would you not be interested? Su Qingqing remained impassive. Sorry, we already have a party. We are not accepting new members. Zhang Jianlong's grin stiffened. His gaze drifted until it locked onto Baize. Excuse me. He pointed at Baize, barely concealing his disbelief. You are partying with him? This good for nothing? His tone turned sharp. He could accept Su Qingqing partnering with anyone except the man he despised. He is nothing but a summoner with a weak familiar. He is useless, you should not. Before he could finish, Baize lifted his level concealment. A brilliant golden 12 appeared above his head. Zhang Jianlong fell dead silent. Stupefied, he stared at the number. Levels inside the newbie instance could not be faked, not even by illusion-type talents. Baize truly was level 12. In a single day, he had achieved progress that ordinarily took months or even half a year for most professionals. Impossible. Zhang Jinlong staggered backward, eyes wide. He could not process what he was seeing. He remembered Baize supposedly having only a feeble skeleton summon. He ought to have been merely level 1 or 2. He swallowed hard, searching for excuses. You must be using some disguise trick. I have seen reports of people falsifying levels inside instances. Before he could finish, several of Baize's former classmates rushed past, nearly knocking Zhang Jinlong aside, and crowded around Baize. Their eyes sparkled. Baize, your party still has 3 open slots, right? Add us 3, and you will have a full 5-man team, the male classmate said excitedly. Level 12 was unheard of. Even the most elite talents from Magic Capital and the capital city rarely surpassed level 11 within the newbie instance. Please, Baize, we were classmates. We ought to help each other. Yeah, we ate together in the cafeteria once, remember? 2 female classmates chimed in. Baize paid them no mind and turned towards Su Qingqing. She is party leader. Ask her, not me. The 3 turned hopeful gazes towards Su Qingqing. She shook her head. Sorry, 2 of us are sufficient. We are not recruiting anyone else. A hush fell over the nearby onlookers. The male classmate spun away, grumbling. What an attitude. So what if he is level 12? Right? Jianlong is still level 7. We will join his party. Witnessing their sudden shift in attitude, Zhang Jianlong's wounded pride eased. He laughed loudly. Ha ha. You are welcome to join my party. Unlike some people, we do not get arrogant over superficial achievements. Though he spoke boastfully, his eyes kept darting toward Baize's glowing level 12. He burned with frustration. He wondered if that skeleton summon was some hidden epic rank existence. His father had ordered him to curry favor with Su Qingqing, yet she had rejected him entirely to side with Baize. What should he do? Damn it. He steeled himself and stepped once more before the pair, fixing his gaze on Su Qingqing. Miss Su, I do not know how he convinced you to stick with him, but with your talent and class, you ought not to associate with someone like him. Zhang Jinlong spoke in a solemn tone. Baize found the whole scene faintly amusing. From the perspective of someone far stronger, Zhang Jinlong struck him as rather ridiculous. Su Qingqing stared at him for a long moment, before she managed to reply. Could you please step aside? We are about to enter the instance. Zhang Jinlong felt as though he had been struck by thunder. He was being brushed off. His face drained of expression. He retreated a few paces and fell quiet. Paying him no further attention, Baize and Su Qingqing walked to the white gateway and began selecting their ultimate trial difficulty. 4 difficulty options were available: easy, normal, hard, hell. Most professionals chose easy for a safe completion. The stronger participants picked normal. Hell was rarely attempted. Only 3 teams in history had cleared it. Baize directly selected hell difficulty. Su Qingqing hesitated, about to object, but judging by Baize's strength, she believed they might pull it off, and held her tongue. The surrounding onlookers were shocked. Jealousy simmered, yet nobody dared speak openly in the face of level 12. Moments later, their figures vanished as they stepped through the glowing portal. Only then did Baize's former classmates begin chattering loudly. I really don't get what he's showing off for. There's no way he'll make it through. Hell, mode difficulty isn't meant for people like us. All right, cut the chatter. Hurry up and form teams. Inside the Great Hall, Zhang Jinlong frowned and began grouping up with the others. Meanwhile, deep inside the dungeon, Baize and his companion had already started their final trial. The moment they stepped into the instance, a prompt echoed in their ears. You have entered monster territory. Wood, Charm Snake Cavern. Level, 10 to 15. Monsters, Red Snake, Wood Charm Snake. Boss, Silver, Rank Wood, Charm Snake King. Whoa, a Silver, rank boss right off the bat. Are you confident we can handle this? Su Qingqing grew tense at once. She had not even laid eyes on any monsters yet, and she was already growing anxious. It's fine, we'll be okay. Baize waved his hand casually. He had slain a Silver, rank Snake Elder before, so the Silver, rank Wood, Charm Snake King ought to be much the same. Moreover, his goal was not merely clearing the instance. He aimed to set a new record. In the next instant, the Dragon King's sword materialized in Baize's hand. At the same time, he called out to Su Qingqing. Have Little Bone carry you. Let's pull off a speed run. What do you say? Su Qingqing nodded. Without wasting words, she leaned against the little skeleton and let its large skull hoist her onto its back. Right after that, the 2 charged deep into the dungeon at full sprint. The small skeleton carried Su Qingqing and took point, while Baize kept cutting down swarms of the 2 types of snakes closing in from behind. Boosted by his high stats, his attributes dwarfed those of these ordinary monsters by a massive margin. Every foe fell with a single sword strike. Hell, mode difficulty had become nothing more than a speed run for Bai Zai. Wood, Charm Snake Slain, EXP plus 5,300. Red Snake Slain, EXP plus 5,300. Barely 3 minutes later, the pair burst straight into the very heart of the dungeon, arriving before an enormous ancient tree. Bai Zai and his companion were not even winded. Su Qingqing, on the other hand, was badly shaken, clutching her chest and gasping for breath. Get ready. We'll finish it in one burst. Bai Zai fixed his gaze on the giant tree, and a monster stat panel appeared before his eyes. Silver, rank boss, wood, Charm Snake King level, 15 overall constitution, 4380. This boss possessed far higher overall constitution than the previous Snake Elder, meaning its power was greater, and the loot it dropped ought to be correspondingly more valuable. What pleased Bai Zai even more was that the creature was currently asleep, giving them the perfect opening to strike first. He rubbed his hands together and gave the order, "Little Bone, ready your skill." As the words fell, both of them raised their right hands, and a blazing crimson fireball rapidly coalesced. At that exact moment, Su Qingqing also activated her support, type skill, Morale Surge activated. Strength increased by 20%. You've got this. Su Qingqing clenched her small fist. Bai Zai paid her no mind, focusing entirely on charging up his attack. The next second, 2 fireballs, one from the human and one from the skeleton, flew free and slammed thunderously into the massive tree trunk. Boom. The searing fireballs shattered the bark and burrowed deep inside. 1072. 1083. 4-digit damage values floated above the wood, Charm Snake King. A single blow stripped away nearly half its health. What was more, since the wood Charm Snake King was wood-aligned, it took severe damage from the crimson fireballs, receiving 300% damage, and continued to burn and lose health over time. 23, 23, 23. Several seconds later, a pained roar rang out. The surrounding trees shuddered, and gravel rolled across the ground. The giant tree finally pulled its green serpentine head free from its depths. Blood streamed from its maw. It had sustained grievous wounds. Keep moving. Bai Zai barked a quick command. The small skeleton carried Su Qingqing and darted away, while Bai Zai drew his bow, loosing arrows from afar to whittle down the boss's remaining health. The wood, Charm Snake King was extremely fast and possessed immense strength. With a thunderous charge, it smashed a gaping crater more than 5 meters deep into the ground. Unfortunately for it, Bai Zai and his companion had nearly 200 agility points. The wood, Charm Snake King could not land a single hit. Bai Zai fought with effortless ease. After 30 seconds of kiting, human and skeleton both raised their hands once more and unleashed crimson fireballs. Boom. 1073. 1073. With this second combined strike, the wood, Charm Snake King's health was fully depleted, and it crashed heavily to the ground. Wood, Charm Snake King slain. EXP plus 153,000. Bai Zai panted and wiped sweat from his forehead. This final boss had truly been tough. He had needed to keep dodging constantly. Su Qingqing, however, stood utterly dumbfounded. With over 4,000 constitution, defeating the wood, Charm Snake King would be next to impossible for a normal party. A single charge would crush any tank on the team. On top of that, the boss's high speed made it nearly impossible for mages and archers to evade its attacks. Yet Bai Zai had steamrolled it in a speedrun. The whole fight had taken barely over 1 minute. Was this even human? Su Qingqing was stunned, and new thoughts began to form in her mind. A mere friendship would no longer suffice for someone like Bai Zai. He had to be firmly brought under the Su Corporation's wing. The moment the wood Charm Snake King died, a system announcement sounded within the dungeon. You have defeated the instance's final boss. Instance cleared. You may choose to remain for 30 minutes or exit immediately. Phew, we made it. Bai Zai pulled out his phone. The entire run had taken roughly 5 minutes. Surely that would set a new record, he thought contentedly. He told the small skeleton to fetch the treasure chest dropped by the wood, Charm Snake King. Surprisingly, this top, tier level, 15 silver, rank boss had dropped a golden treasure chest. Its gilded surface shone brilliantly, carved with ferocious patterns, and an engraving of the wood, Charm Snake King. Bai Zai's heart raced. This was his very first golden, rank chest. He wondered what rewards it might hold. Su Qingqing thought Bai Zai was hesitating over loot distribution and spoke quickly. All the gear and items are yours. I'm already grateful you brought me through this instance. All right. Bai Zai nodded, paid her no further heed, and promptly opened the golden, rank chest. Golden light burst forth, revealing a ferocious-looking emerald-green suit of armor inside. A flicker of disappointment crossed his face. For this dungeon, he had expected at least a set of epic-grade gear. Yet only a single piece of armor had appeared. Baize picked it up calmly, but his composure shattered the instant he read its description. Wood, Charmthorn's armor rank, epic stat bonuses, Constitution plus 260, Spirit plus 100. Special effect. Upon taking damage, attackers have a 25% chance to be inflicted with confusion. Confusion. Lose the ability to distinguish friend from foe. The target cannot use skills on their next attack. This was a top-tier epic defensive piece. Compared to the Benevolent King's Shield, it granted far more Constitution, an extra 100 spirit points, and boasted this immensely powerful special effect. Baize eagerly grabbed the armor and slammed it onto the small skeleton's head. White Jade Skeleton has equipped Wood, Charmthorn's armor. Constitution plus 260, Spirit plus 100. Your Constitution plus 260, Spirit plus 100. The moment the gear was equipped, Baize's own stats surged drastically. His character sheet had become monstrous. Yet the dungeon's rewards were not yet exhausted. System notifications chimed, and a golden panel appeared before both of them. Congratulations on clearing Wood, Charm Plains in 5:21. You have achieved first place on the historical rankings. Rewards granted. 1 times random non-level, restricted hero, rank item. 1 times permanent steel inscription opportunity. The panel appeared in their field of view and played in their ears alike. Su Qingqing's eyes went wide as she stared at it. How is this possible? A non-level, restricted hero rank item. Even a well-traveled young heiress from a powerful family like Su Qingqing could scarcely believe it. For awakened professionals, rare, rank gear was wearable at levels 1 to 10, epic, rank at levels 10 to 20. And hero, rank gear was normally only usable starting at level 20 and above. A non-level restricted hero rank item, if equipped by a level 0 professional, would grant an enormous power boost, just as it would for her right now. And there was also the permanent steel inscription opportunity. In this world, anyone who secured a top 10 record in a dungeon earned 1 steel inscription chance. If a participant's performance vastly outstripped all other parties by an enormous margin, they would receive a permanent steel inscription opportunity. Permanent meant their name would be carved into the steel forever, never to be overwritten. The value of such an honor was immense. For professionals without powerful backing, it was the finest possible resume. Even for Su Qingqing, a permanent inscription would make a brilliant addition to her personal credentials. And both of these precious prizes had come entirely from the man standing not far away. Baize paid no attention to Su Qingqing and immediately redeemed his hero rank item reward. In the blink of an eye, a strangely shaped longbow materialized in his hands. It was translucent black, shimmering with faint glimmers, and it carried no physical arrows. Its appearance was most peculiar. Infinite Black Star Bow rank. Hero stat bonuses. Strength plus 1,500. Agility plus 1,500. Special effect 1. Infinite arrows. Drawing the bow automatically generates projectiles. Special effect 2. Pierces up to 10 targets. Special effect 3. Spend 20 spirit points to activate Scatter Shot. Cooldown, 30 seconds. Scatter Shot. Fire 10 fan-shaped arrows forward simultaneously. Baize's pupils constricted to pinpricks. Were these stat bonuses real? The combined 1,500 strength and 1,500 agility exceeded the total of all his previous attributes put together. Meanwhile, Su Qingqing claimed her own reward. She walked over to Baize excitedly, holding a pink staff. Brother Baize, this is top-tier hero rank gear. Su Qingqing exclaimed in delight. She stroked the pink staff in her hands, brimming with joy. With this single weapon, she would surely earn high praise from her father upon returning to her clan. High-quality hero rank weapons were rare, even among level 30 to level 40 professionals. Such powerful gear was held by only a tiny fraction of people. Those select few were the professionals capable of clearing nightmare, mode, or higher dungeons, an exceedingly small group. 1 in 10,000. Non-level, restricted hero rank equipment was even rarer. Fewer than 10 such pieces existed across recorded history. Yet the two of them had each obtained one. I see. I thought all hero rank gear had stats like these. Baize nodded and slammed the bow onto the small skeleton's head. White Jade Skeleton has equipped Infinite Black Star Bow. Strength plus 1,500, agility plus 1,500. Your strength plus 1,500, agility plus 1,500. Upon equipping it, Bai Zhe felt a powerful surge of energy course through his entire body. At the same time, his perceived body weight dropped sharply. He felt more than 50 pounds lighter, and his agility rose drastically. Bai Zhe happily opened his character sheet and was stunned by what he saw. Name: Bai Zhe level, 1297.3% class, Specialized Summoner S, rank. Talent: Gear Master EX, rank Constitution, 933 Strength, 1812 Agility, 1713 Spirit, 321 Skills, Toxin Arts, Crimson Fireball. Equipped: Infinite Black Star Bow, Wood Charm Thorns Armor, Dragon King Sword, Benevolent King Shield. Snake Elder Set, Silver Chainmail, Shockblade, Chick Hat. Summon: White Jade Skeleton Unique. With 1800 strength, Bai Zhe felt strong enough to crush an ox with his bare hands. He picked up a pebble from the ground and squeezed it between two fingers. The stone crumbled to dust. 1800 strength, truly terrifying. He pulled out his phone and pulled up a web page for reference. Stat benchmarks for professionals of all levels. Levels 1 to 10. Constitution roughly 200, Strength roughly 60. Levels 10 to 20. Constitution roughly 500, Strength roughly 200. Levels 20 to 30. Constitution roughly 1200, Strength roughly 500. These figures came from the official Professionals Association website for reference. Bai Zhe's eyes narrowed. His attributes were now comparable to an ordinary level, 30 professional. His strength far surpassed the baseline, though his constitution lagged somewhat. That hardly mattered. Stacked passive bonuses and special effects from his many pieces of gear made him far stronger than a typical level, 30 professional. Just then, Su Qingqing dragged the golden interface over before Bai Zhe and spoke in a clear, crisp voice. Say, gee, you still haven't done the steel inscription. Reminded, Bai Zhe nodded in agreement. Carving one's name onto the dungeon's steel was a tremendous honor, especially on the steel for this starting zone dungeon. Every new professional who attempted this final trial would see it. It would cement his legend. Su Qingqing thought for a moment and quickly inscribed a line onto the steel. Loves pork knuckle rice. Bai Zhe blinked in surprise. Su Qingqing certainly had a sense of humor. Then it was his turn. He wrote casually onto the steel. Sword Seeker of the Isolated Isles. Reading Bai Zhe's inscription, Su Qingqing could no longer hold back. Flushing, she asked, "Wait, what on earth did you write?" She turned her face away, too embarrassed to keep looking. Bai Zhe laughed lightly. "Pay it no mind, just a personal fancy." They said no more and quickly exited the dungeon. Seconds later, they reappeared inside the dungeon hall. Nearly everyone had already formed parties and entered their instances. Only the two of them remained. As they prepared to go their separate ways, Su Qingqing hurried forward to exchange contact information and made him an offer. "Zhe, gee, with your power you could join the Su Corporation. We can offer you a percentage share of profits every year. What do you think?" Su Qingqing spoke confidently. In this era, clans and corporations usually recruited talented professionals with fixed monthly or yearly salaries. Such compensation had a hard ceiling, however. A profit-sharing arrangement offered far greater upside. Offering a percentage share spoke volumes about her sincerity. Bai Zhe was genuinely taken aback. A percentage share from a top-tier conglomerate represented at minimum billions of star credits per year. What are the conditions?" Bai Zhe asked cautiously. "Not many. You would fight as our representative for the Su Corporation, though that will only be needed once you grow even stronger. Here, I'll give you a commitment contract. Even if our formal agreement falls through, you will still receive 100 million star credits." Su Qingqing bit her lip and pulled a contract slip from her wrist device, handing it directly to Bai Zhe. This was the maximum authority she could exercise. A contract issued from her hand carried great weight. "All right," Bai Zhe nodded. He then brought up his concerns regarding his conflict with the Hongxing group, explaining that they might send assassins after he left the dungeon. He hoped the Su Corporation could provide protection. Su Qingqing nodded seriously and immediately made a phone call. Some 10 minutes passed before she hung up. "It's all handled. I laid out your situation. Our Su Corporation representatives in Apocalypse City will negotiate with Hongxing Group and guarantee your safety. Rest assured, we will meet again," Su Qingqing said brightly. After a few more polite exchanges, the two logged out of the dungeon. A moment later, Bai Zhe felt a wave of dizziness and found himself back inside his classroom. Evening was drawing near. The daylight carried the dim glow of dusk. No other students had returned yet. Though the atmosphere felt somewhat gloomy, Bai Zhe's heart soared. When he had entered, he had been a powerless level 0 nobody. Now his power exceeded that of level 30 professionals. Not bad. 12 hours of hard fighting, yet I feel hardly fatigued. Maybe I can dive into another dungeon tonight. Baize clenched his fist in excitement, already making plans. His enhanced constitution allowed him to go without sleep for 5 or 6 days straight, letting him grind inside dungeons for long stretches. Still, he needed to head home first. There was a sick family member waiting for him. But the instant Baize stepped out of the school gate, a figure in a tailored windbreaker stepped into his field of vision. A square-jawed man with stiff black hair. A deep, steady voice spoke. "Greetings. I am Zhang Qishan, representative of the Su clan." He held out a hand, and Baize shook it. "I am a level 51 offensive type professional. From now on, I will provide full-time personal protection for you until new orders arrive from the clan leadership. Also, the Su clan has already spoken with Hongxing Group. You need not worry about them any longer." Zhang Qishan had barely finished speaking when several figures rushed out from within the school. The principal's furious voice boomed. "Baize, stop right there. How dare you show your face here? Do you realize what terrible trouble you have caused this school today? Get back here." Wang Tianming had been lying in wait. 2 million star credits that had been his were gone. That was a devastating loss. Today Baize would pay dearly for what he had done. But as the principal and his group charged forward, Zhang Qishan stepped calmly in front of Baize. He pulled a business card from his coat and held it out toward the enraged principal and his men. Wang Tianming froze on the spot. He could instantly sense the imposing aura radiating from this stranger. Cautiously, he took the card. The card felt substantial. Printed prominently upon it was a large 7-lobed lotus emblem, the mark of the Su clan of Magic Metropolis. Wang Tianming's pupils contracted. Rage melted away, replaced by an ingratiating smile. Before he could utter a word, Zhang Qishan spoke first. "I am Zhang Qishan of the Magic Metropolis Su clan. I am formally warning you. Baize is a key partner of our house. Treat him with proper respect, or you will face the consequences." Zhang Qishan delivered the warning in a flat tone. Without looking back, he walked away side by side with Baize. Wang Tianming stood rooted to the ground, clutching the card in his hand. His face was blank. He lowered his head and waved his hand. "It's fine. Everyone disperse." Some distance away, Baize and Zhang Qishan arrived outside Baize's home. Zhang Qishan made no move to enter. "Would you like to come in for a while?" Baize asked politely, following basic hospitality. "No need. I have my own private space and will remain on watch outside. It amounts to the same." Zhang Qishan shook his head. He tapped the ring on his finger and dissolved into a wisp of flowing light, vanishing. Baize raised an eyebrow. He said nothing more and pushed open his front door. The moment he stepped inside, bang! A shower of debris flew straight toward him, and an enraged roar exploded out. "Get out!" Heaps of domestic trash crashed into Baize, yet his figure stood firm, blocking the doorway. "Boy, how many times do I have to tell you? Drop your occupation and live an ordinary life. Go work as an auto mechanic with your uncle. Do you know how many occupants die in the Empire every year? 10 million. A full 10 million. Your mother's gone, your grandparents died in battle, and your elder brother perished on the battlefield too. It's just the two of us left. Only us. Do you understand? Are you determined to become an occupant just to drive me to my grave?" Baijan's voice was furious and hoarse. He strained to rise from his wheelchair and hurled a plastic bucket straight at Baize. "I'll beat some sense into you, you reckless fool." Bang! The bucket struck Baize's body, yet it inflicted not the slightest harm. He could barely even feel the plastic making contact with him. Baize stood motionless, his gaze calm as stagnant water as he stared at his father. Baijan continued roaring, like a fierce lion worn down by despair and rage. His chest heaved like a broken bellows. Unshaven, he gasped heavily, his eyes bloodshot. Baize frowned as he watched him. "Why are you shouting? I choose to become an occupant. That's my freedom. Besides, what makes you so certain I'll die?" Hearing his son's youthful reply, a surge of anger rushed to Baijan's head. "You idiot." His body trembled as he pointed one finger at Baize. "Let me ask you, are you an SSS rank occupant? Do you have the backing of a top-tier clan? Or do you possess an SSS rank talent? You have none of those. You're just a lowly warrior, disposable manpower for the Empire. Sooner or later, when the abyss erupts in Apocalypse City, you'll be among the first sent to the battlefield. You'll be torn apart by monsters. You'll become a stepping stone for high-ranking occupants, a line on their resumes, fuel to power the Empire. You have no idea how corrupt the Empire's political sphere is. You're far too young, blind to reality." Baijan let his frustration pour out. Then his shaking hand reached into his trouser pocket and pulled out a flip phone, scrolling for a contact number. "I'm calling Uncle Hao right now to have him take you away. You'll deregister your occupant account, and learn auto-repair from him. Live a quiet, stable life for the rest of your days. He spoke shakily, but before he could make the call, Baizé stepped forward and snatched the phone from his grasp. Hear me out. What if I'm not that lowly warrior you think I am? Baizé's tone remained steady, utterly composed. Baijan was about to snap back, only to see a golden interface unfold before his eyes in an instant. Name, Baizé level, 1297.3% occupation. Exclusive Summoner S talent. Gear Master EX Constitution, 933 Strength, 1812 Agility, 1713 Spirit, 321 Skills. Toxic Arts, Blazing Shot. Equipment, Infinite Blackstar Bow, Wood Wraith Counter Armor, Dragon King's Sword, Benevolent King's Shield, Serpent Lord Set, Silver Chainmail, Electroblade, Chick Hat. Summoned Beast, White Jade Skeleton Unique. The golden text dazzled Baijan. He stared blankly at the interface, unable to utter a single word, as if a stone was lodged in his throat. He read every line carefully. Feeling the distinct aura emanating from Baizé, he finally grasped the truth. His eyes widened abruptly. What? Hide this quickly. He stumbled forward, grabbing Baizé's shoulders and shaking him. Baizé focused his gaze and dismissed the interface. His father's attitude had undergone a complete transformation. Baijan stared at him in disbelief, replaying the information he had just seen in his mind. 1,800 strength? That's nearly equal to mine. And you're only level 12. A grin spread uncontrollably across his face as he spoke. Level 12 with around 1,800 strength and 1,700 agility. On top of that, you can equip unlimited weapons and gear. You must be cheating. Tell me honestly, did you find some loophole? Overjoyed, Baijan rubbed his hands together, shut the door, and sank back into his wheelchair, wearing a delighted smile. Here, have a cigarette. These were your grandfather's military rations, premium stock, excellent stuff. This bottle of Jägermeister is something I've been saving to drink on my final day. Today calls for celebration. His father's attitude had done a complete 180. He pulled out cigarettes and liquor, lighting one for Baizé and pouring him a drink. Baizé took a drag and exhaled a cloud of smoke contentedly. Baijan now looked at him not as a child, but as an equal, if not superior, powerhouse. I was just a berserker once, and your mother was only an ordinary necromancer summoner. Never thought we'd produce someone this remarkable. You've got your mother and me to thank. Baijan chuckled, passing over half a bag of sunflower seeds. Now that this is out in the open, what's your plan? Do you want to lay low and collect more equipment, or sign on with a large corporation? For once, the overbearing father did not make decisions for Baizé, choosing instead to listen to his plans. Don't misunderstand. Even with unlimited equipment slots, one person can only achieve so much. Unless you reach level 50 or 60, stacked with countless equipment effects, you'll never gain true freedom and power. Mid-sentence, he suddenly noticed a small, pale skeleton appear in the living room. It stood at only 1.6 meters tall with a large, round head, looking oddly adorable. The unlimited equipment slots don't belong to me. They belong to him. On top of that, I am an exclusive summoner. We share all stats, skills, and equipment. Before Baizé could finish speaking, his father exclaimed in shock. You are definitely cheating. He gaped at the little skeleton. This effectively doubles your combat strength. Summoned beasts can also grow stronger over time. There's no way this is normal. Despite his words, Baijan looked utterly elated. A glint flashed in his eyes. Very well. You have your own path, and I won't press you for details. Now that you've fully committed to this road, I'll offer whatever support I can. With that, Baijan wheeled himself over to the desk and removed the first drawer entirely. He reached deep inside and fumbled around for a long time before pulling out a small wooden casket. His rough hands trembled as he took a skull pendant carved from blue crystal from the box. Your mother left this behind. She said it holds the true essence of the necromancer summoner occupation. Only summoners can see its full effects. She told me if our son became a summoner, I must pass this on to you. No matter how weak your summoner class might seem, this relic can restore your strength as a summoner. Baizé accepted the pendant, curiosity stirring within him. He held it out to the small skeleton, only to discover the item could not be equipped by summoned beasts. It was designed exclusively for summoners. He slipped the pendant around his own neck. Necromancer's invitation unequipable by non-summoners. Rank, Primordial Effect 1. Every slain creature can be recorded. Recorded targets may be summoned in undead form. Effect 2. Undead summons can resurrect infinitely and receive a 150% boost to all attributes. Maximum recorded targets. 3. Effect 3. Enables second-class advancement for summoners. Upon successful advancement, you will unconditionally acquire all Necromancer Summoner skills. Maximum recorded targets will increase with level. Baize raised an eyebrow. He quickly tucked the pendant under his shirt and stared at his father in disbelief. Wait a minute, old man. Where did you get this? A primordial grade item? Are you joking? Baize felt lightheaded. Primordial tier relics were treasures worthy of being passed down as clan heirlooms even within the Empire. Ordinary people would never so much as hear of them in their lifetimes. Where did this come from? Its abilities are absolutely overpowered, and it can even facilitate class advancement. Doubt and curiosity swirled inside Baize. Occupants could undergo second-class advancement at level 30, but it required assistance from the Empire and other professional occupants. This relic suggested he could advance simply by reaching level 30, which was completely unheard of. Yet Baijan's expression turned somber. He lit a cigarette and sighed. Your mother left it. It embodies everything she gained from her occupation and her entire life. Baijan exhaled slowly, memories surfacing in his gaze. Beyond the countless dungeons exist forces even the Empire dares not provoke. Baize leaned in to listen. He expected a tale of bitter hardship and duty, yet what followed stunned him completely. But they are not your enemies. The Empire is. Now that you possess the power to inherit your mother's legacy, I am glad. Still, you must speak and act with caution. The darkness within the Empire runs far deeper than you can imagine. Melancholy filled Baijan's eyes as he sank into reminiscence. 17 years ago, the former pope sought to ascend to godhood, transcending the divine. He hunted down 10 unique occupants to seize their classes, your mother among them. In the end, your mother managed to escape, yet the ordeal cost her life. With her last breath, she left this primordial relic behind. Baijan sighed, fixing his gaze on Baize. Now that you have the potential to grow stronger, I won't keep up the pretense any longer. The moment the words left his mouth, the room began to shake. Fine dust drifted down from above. A low hum filled the air, and Baize's vision blurred. Baijan flicked cigarette ash away and slowly rose from the wheelchair. A crackling sound echoed as the bones in his legs shifted. A savage, primal bloodlust surged from his body. He stood like an ancient war god radiating endless killing intent. Wrinkles smoothed away from Baijan's aged face. His short black hair lengthened rapidly, turning fiery red. Every trace of stubble vanished, restoring his youthful appearance from his 20s, sharp and handsome. A level marker materialized above his head. Fallen Paladin level 72 aggression burned in his eyes as he looked toward Baize. Don't rest tonight. Farm levels without pause and reach level 30 for your second advancement as soon as possible. Once you do, come find me at the 10,000 Beasts Demon Cave, 2,000 kilometers northeast of the Empire's capital. As his voice faded, Baijan turned into a streak of fire, tearing straight through the ceiling. He shot toward the horizon like a crimson meteor. Baize stood dumbfounded, unable to get a single word in edgewise. He could barely process everything his father had told him. Wow, incredible, Baize muttered, locking eyes with Zhang Qishan, who stood outside equally stunned. After a brief conversation, Baize told Zhang Qishan he would skip rest that night to grind levels in Apocalypse City's dungeon. There was no point holding on to this home now. The ceiling was shattered, the structure damaged, cracks split the floor, and the air reeked of smoke. He struggled to accept the scene of devastation all around him. The man everyone in the neighborhood wrote off as a useless, disabled father was actually a level 72 fallen paladin, bearing an SSS rank occupation. You could have left without smashing the house to bits. Baize hailed a taxi heading for Apocalypse City's dungeon hall while silently complaining. If he had this kind of strength, why pretend to be poor? I've survived on cheap pork knuckle rice for years. Memories of the past 18 years crossed his mind. Endless instant noodles and budget pork knuckle rice. His father had maintained the act of a crippled, impoverished man this entire time. Baize had wasted years looking after someone who was never truly disabled. Never mind. First priority is second-class advancement. I want to witness exactly what this primordial relic can do. Baize stroked the pendant. A gentle, warm sensation flowed into his body. The taxi rolled forward. As Baize savored the strange warmth, a skyscraper in the distance suddenly exploded. Boom. The taxi ground to a halt. The world blazed red. The dark sky dyed scarlet. Countless shards of glass swirled through the air as the tower collapsed piece by piece. People screamed and trembled beneath flames threatening to burn through the heavens. Baize stared in shock. Fear did not rise within him when faced with the catastrophic sight, for he recognized the building as the headquarters of Red Star Group. Dozens of company executives were tossed onto the ground, their bodies broken beyond recognition. The once imposing office tower had turned into a sea of fire, split clean in two by a massive crimson holy sword. Unfortunately, Bai could not spot Zhang Shanhai or the other core members, but he saw his father. Bai Zhan hovered unharmed amid the flames, holy light glowing in his eyes. Bai wiped sweat from his brow. Old Bai pulled out his full power. The world was bathed in crimson. Bai could faintly make out his father's tall figure drifting amid the raging fire. He sat in the taxi, watching silently. Red Star Group was destroyed, yet key figures including Zhang Shanhai had escaped. In the blink of an eye, Bai Zhan flew over to the taxi and tapped on the window. Tap, tap, tap. The driver nearly had a heart attack. Traffic was blocked ahead, leaving no way to escape. Bai rolled down the window, staring at Bai Zhan with a complicated expression. Couldn't you have told me about this sooner? He could not hold back his complaint. Bai Zhan ignored the remark and held out an open palm. The immediate threat to you is dealt with. Red Star Group won't be able to target you for a while. Also, before you head to the 10,000 Beasts Demon Cave, eliminate the Zhang family. It will serve as proof of your resolve when you meet me. With that, Bai Zhan waved and slowly lifted off the ground. I'll be waiting for you at the 10,000 Beasts Demon Cave. Don't die out there before your second advancement, or you'll dishonor your mother's memory. He turned into another meteor and vanished. Uncertain whether his father was still lingering nearby, Bai chose to travel on foot toward Apocalypse City's Abyss Dungeon. Fortunately, the distance was short. Bolstered by his enhanced occupant physique, he covered 6 kilometers in 5 or 6 minutes and arrived at his destination. Sigh, time to get to work. Can't even rely on my own father for support. He sighed and looked toward the massive dungeon gate. A huge portal towered before him, with hundreds of occupants lingering nearby. Usually, crowds gathered here to form parties, but today everyone was chattering about the collapse of Red Star Group's headquarters. Bai nodded to himself. Zhang Shanhai had bigger troubles to handle for now. He needed to grow stronger as quickly as possible. He walked up to the gate and checked the dungeon information. Isle of Eternal Night rank. 3. Star difficulty. Normal, hard, hell, despair monsters. Een wraiths, night fiends, rotworm swarms boss. Queen of Eternal Night. Dungeons were ranked from 1 star to 9 star. 3 star dungeons corresponded to level 30 occupants. Bai was only level 12. Nominally, this dungeon was far above his league, yet his actual strength vastly outmatched ordinary level 30 occupants. The 1 star and 2 star dungeons were too far away to bother traveling to. 3 star dungeons offered far better rewards, so he was happy to take on the challenge. Just as Bai prepared to enter, he thought for a moment and sent a message to Su Qingqing. Isle of Eternal Night, 3 star Abyss Dungeon in Apocalypse City. You coming? I only claim 1 epic, grade piece of equipment. 10 seconds after sending the message, Su Qingqing replied immediately. I'm in. Enter the dungeon first. I'll teleport straight over. Reading the reply, Bai wasted no time and initiated entry, selecting Despair difficulty. You have selected Despair difficulty, Isle of Eternal Night. Entry commencing in 30 seconds. As the countdown ticked down, Bai's figure flickered and vanished. When his vision cleared, he stood on the shore of a sprawling island beneath a gloomy sky. The tang of salt water filled the air. At that moment, Su Qingqing materialized behind him, separated by a translucent barrier. He turned to see her looking troubled as she pointed at the barrier. Wait a second, why did you pick Despair difficulty? Are you sure about this? The reason Su Qingqing could teleport over was that this entire dungeon world was interconnected. When a professional chooses to attempt a dungeon, a difficulty barrier automatically forms, isolating the dungeon from the outside world. Anyone who crosses the barrier automatically accepts the set difficulty. That was why Su Qingqing hesitated to step inside. In her opinion, the Despair difficulty of this 3 star dungeon was far too brutal. Even level 30 professionals would need to think twice before challenging it. Bai Yi was only level 12. No matter how talented he was, it still felt reckless. Are you going to start the run or not? Hurry up and come in if you are. Hearing Bai Ye's urging and recalling his previous combat strength, Su Qingqing gritted her teeth and stepped across the barrier. Fine, I'll trust you one more time. Su Qingqing spoke firmly. The two quickly formed a party and headed deeper into Polar Night Island to explore. Su Qingqing stayed close behind Bai the whole way, unwilling to move ahead. This operation was extremely risky. She had snuck out without telling her father. She had also sent Bai's information to her father, yet she had not received any reply. Bai, I sent your information to my dad. She did not finish her sentence. A sudden noise echoed in the distance. A massive beetle burrowed out from the sand, and a notification sounded beside both of them. You have entered monster territory, Rotworm Beach. Level 3035. Monsters, Rotworm Clans. Boss, Silver Tier Rotworm, Lord Gules. Right after the notification appeared, the giant beetle fully crawled out onto the beach. Its body was enormous, roughly the size of a sedan. Carrion Beetle Level 30 Total Constitution 5,200. No way. How are we supposed to get through that massive health pool? Su Qingqing nearly screamed in shock. She was only level 8. Facing a monster with such high constitution, she could barely deal any meaningful damage, not even scratch its surface. Could you please stop yelling? Bai Zai shot her a speechless glance, then raised his infinite Blackstar bow and aimed at the towering beetle. The beetle's heavy body crashed onto the ground. 6 clawed limbs like sheaths pierced the sand as it charged forward with thunderous rumbling, like a war vehicle hurtling straight toward them. Su Qingqing paled with fright. When the beetle closed to less than 10 meters away, Bai Zai released his arrow. Scatter shot activated. One illusory arrow flew forward, instantly splitting into 8 projectiles that swept out in a fan shape. At such close range, all 8 arrows struck the beetle, unleashing a storm of damage. 14,496. With just one strike, the beetle's midsection was severed with a crisp crack. Turbid green blood gushed across the sand. Carrion Beetle Slaying. Experience plus 120,039. Your experience gauge has reached 124%. Su Qingqing froze on the spot, rubbing her eyes in disbelief. How much damage was that? Against Su Qingqing's stunned reaction, Bai Zai remained calm. His strength had reached 1,800 points. Scattershot unleashed 8 basic attacks. Landing all 8 hits naturally dealt around 14,000 damage. It was only logical. What excited Bai Zai was the massive experience reward from defeating a level 30 monster while he was only level 12. He leveled up immediately. You have leveled up. Constitution, 933, 963 Strength, 1812, 1845 Agility, 1713, 1746 Spirit, 321, 352. The attribute points granted on leveling still felt somewhat meager. What Bai Zai needed most right now was equipment. Just as he prepared to advance further, the blue skull pendant on his chest rippled with energy. You have slain a high-level carrion beetle. Record this target? Hearing the prompt, Bai Zai's eyes lit up. Record it. A countdown appeared before him. Recording complete in 1 minute 14 seconds. Bai Zai pondered quietly. Recording monsters he defeated required time. Recording this level 30 beetle only took a little over a minute, so he decided to wait. Su Qingqing saw Bai Zai stop and waited alongside him. The two chatted casually. Moments later, recording complete. Carrion beetle can be summoned anytime. Bai Zai focused his thoughts and slowly lifted his right hand. Summon. A massive faint blue portal tore open space. A battered beetle reeking of rot crawled out. The carrion beetle's antennae twitched as it sensed the air, then lowered its head toward Bai Zai in submission. Its stats appeared in his view. Undead Carrion Beetle Level 30 Total Constitution 7,800. Amazing. Bai Zai stared at the beetle with delight. His parents had left him an overwhelmingly powerful cheat. The item his mother left behind was truly overpowered, worthy of its primordial tier rank. 1 recording charge consumed. Remaining recording slots. 2. Existing records may be deleted to make space for superior targets at any time. The skull pendant relayed the notification. Bai Zai nodded. He then began issuing commands to the undead beetle. Scout ahead and clear the path. The beetle possessed basic intelligence and could follow his orders clearly. That was perfect. The pair continued forward. Roughly 50 meters onward, 2 more carrion beetles emerged from the sand, snarling aggressively. At Bai Zai's command, the undead beetle charged and collided violently with the 2 wild beetles. Bai Zai raised his infinite Blackstar bow to deal supplementary damage from the side. Still, he found one downside. Although the undead beetle boasted high health, its attack power was lackluster. A claw strike dealt at most 200 damage, and its bite barely exceeded 300 damage. Its only real purpose was to act as a tank. This made Bai Zai even more eager. If he could record a boss, his strength would surge dramatically. With that thought, he waved his hand. The small skeleton appeared beside him, also wielding an infinite Blackstar bow. Goo goo gaga. It chirped happily, rubbing its skull against Bai Zai's trousers before raising its bow. It spread out to a separate position and began firing alongside him, greatly boosting their damage output. Roughly 10 seconds later, the 2 beetles collapsed. The undead beetle's health was nearly exhausted, but that mattered little. It could be resummoned endlessly. Carrion Beetle Slaying. Experience plus 134,000. 822. Carrion Beetle Slaying. Experience plus 134,312. Your experience gauge has reached 63%, killing targets far above his level granted enormous experience. Bai Zai fought alongside his summon, while Su Qingqing supported from the sidelines, casting buffs and cheering him on. Carrion Beetle Slain. After a while, both leveled up again. Su Qingqing reached level 10, and Bai Zai advanced to level 14. Still, the attribute gains per level felt underwhelming. Bai Zai sighed inwardly, hoping to find better equipment soon. Strange. We've defeated so many monsters, and not a single piece of loot dropped. Bai Zai began to suspect the dungeon's drop rate. As if responding to his thought, roars echoed from deeper in the distance. Large sections of sand caved inward. The next instant, an enormous mantis head emerged from beneath the sand, its gaze locking onto the two intruders. Bai Zai stared in surprise. This boss was gigantic. Its head alone was the size of a truck. He could only imagine its full stature. Silver tier boss. Mantis Sovereign Gules level. 34 total constitution. 16555. The staggering 16,000 total constitution made Bai Zai's pupils shrink. Without hesitation, he ordered his undead beetle to charge the massive head. The outcome was predictable. The beetle failed to deal meaningful damage before the Mantis Sovereign bit through and devoured it. Yet another undead beetle was summoned directly in front of the Mantis Sovereign to take its place the moment the previous one fell. The endless stream of summoned beetles kept the boss occupied. It could only destroy one tank after another, with new ones appearing immediately. Su Qingqing watched the scene in shock. Where had Bai Zai obtained an endless supply of tanks? This ability was simply broken. Attack! Bai Zai waved his arm. At the same time, the small skeleton lifted its palm toward the Mantis Sovereign's head. Blazing flame bullet. 2 fireballs slammed into the Mantis Sovereign's compound eyes and erupted in flames. 5,269. 5,436. Nearly 10,000 damage burst forth. Flames spread across the Mantis Sovereign's head. It turned out to be a wood-aligned creature, vulnerable to fire. 32. 28. 34. Agony racked the Mantis Sovereign. It had not yet pulled its body free from the sand, but more undead beetles charged head on into its face. Bai Zai and his summon continued unleashing attacks. In less than a minute, the powerful silver tier boss perished trapped within the sand. It never managed to pull its body out or bring its scythe limbs to bear, dying with only its head exposed. Mantis Sovereign Slain. Experience plus 321,434. Your experience gauge has reached 27%. Level 1427%. The moment the Mantis Sovereign died, Bai Zai clutched his skull pendant tightly. High level silver boss Gules Slain. Record this target? Yes. Recording initiated. Estimated completion time 8 minutes 42 seconds. Recording had begun. Instead of waiting idly, Bai Zai strode to the spot where the Mantis Sovereign had fallen. Amidst pools of emerald blood rested a golden treasure chest. It was covered in ferocious carvings and shimmered brightly, etched with patterns of a mantis's twin scythes. As Bai Zai prepared to open it, Su Qingqing walked over and spoke crisply. By the way, this is your share of the reward for clearing this dungeon run. She pulled out a pair of purple boots of epic tier. Understood. Bai Zai nodded, picked up the golden chest, and opened it directly. Golden light burst outward. When he saw what lay inside, his eyes widened. The golden shell of the chest dissolved into light particles, leaving behind a weapon forged from Mantis scythe. It was reddish-green, lined with sharp barbs along its razor edge, resembling a genuine Mantis claw blade glinting with lethal sharpness. The moment she saw the weapon, Su Qingqing gasped. This is top-tier epic grade. Weapons of the same tier still varied widely in quality. Even rare-tier equipment could differ greatly. Some granted merely 50 attribute points, while others offered 100. The Mantis scythe before them was undoubtedly among the finest epic-grade weapons. Mantis Demon Cleaver tier, epic attribute bonus, strength plus 300, agility plus 100 special effect. All attacks automatically gain the Lacerate property Lacerate. Attacks deal an additional 40% of base damage. Bai Zai stared at the special effect in astonishment. Once equipped, this cleaver would grant him a permanent extra 40% damage on every strike. Combined with his existing rare-tier electric blade, his normal attacks could reach a maximum damage boost of 170%. 17% additional damage meant every basic strike hit as hard as a skill. For professionals below level 30, such power was unimaginable. Bai Zai picked up the weapon and handed it to the small skeleton. White Jade Skeleton equipped Mantis Demon Cleaver. Strength plus 300, Agility plus 100. Your Strength plus 300, Agility plus 100. His attributes surged pleasantly. Bai Zai's stats had climbed to an astonishing threshold, far exceeding what professionals of his level should possess. Name: Bai Zai level, 1427% class. Exclusive Summoner S talent. Gear Master EX Constitution, 1000 Strength, 2176 Agility, 1886 Spirit, 379 Skills, Toxin Arts, Blazing Flame Bullet Equipment, Mantis Demon Cleaver, Infinite Blackstar Bow, Wood Phantom Counter Armor, Dragon King Sword, Benevolent King Shield, Snake Earl Set, Silver Chain Mail, Electric Blade, Chick Hat. Summon: White Jade Skeleton. Unique. His strength broke past 2176, and his constitution rose to a solid 1000 points. Ah, this feels great. Bai Zai reveled in his vastly strengthened physique. He felt strong enough to knock down 10 bulls with one punch. At that moment, Su Qingqing exclaimed happily, "Zai Gu, our clear speed has surpassed all previous teams." Su Qingqing held up her phone. The screen showed the other 3 teams had spent 5 hours clearing Rotworm Beach. The 2 of them needed less than 30 minutes. Wonderful. We can carve our names onto the divine steel once again. She gazed at Bai Zai brightly, her thoughts wandering. Su Qingqing twisted her fingers nervously, looking at Bai Zai. In her mind, powerful professionals like him would surely have many seeking to stand beside them. Anyone who formed a long-term partnership with Bai Zai would gain unimaginable benefits. Simply teaming up with him might be enough to push someone straight to level 60. Maybe I could stay by his side. The thought flashed through Su Qingqing's mind. Her cheeks flushed, but she quickly shook her head to push the idea away. All right, 8 minutes are up. Let me see how powerful this summon is. Recording for the Skull Pendant had finished. The items panel updated, holding 2 recorded monsters. Current records: February 3rd. Carrion Beetle, Mantis Sovereign Ghoul satisfied. Bai Zai raised his hand and activated summoning. This time, the faint blue portal expanded massively, towering more than 20 meters high as it tore open space. Cold blue energy surged outward. A colossal undead mantis stepped through. Its body was broken and mangled, riddled with holes, many internal organs exposed. Its head was fractured and its eyes shattered, yet its twin sides remained razor-sharp. Thanks to undead attribute amplification, its power reached 150% of its living form. Silver Tier Boss, Undead Mantis Sovereign Ghoul's level, 34 total constitution, 24,832.5. Nearly 24,800 constitution points. This mantis possessed durability comparable to a level 40 professional. Bai Zai's eyes lit with excitement. He extended a hand towards Su Qingqing. Come, I'll let you ride the mantis. Su Qingqing's cheeks flushed lightly, yet she let Bai Zai take her hand and climbed onto the mantis's back. They headed deeper into Polar Night Island. My father has been occupied lately. He will get back to you about the contract soon. Su Qingqing spoke nervously. She had never ridden such a massive beast with anyone outside her family. No rush. Bai Zai replied gently, yet his eyes were deep, shimmering faint star-like blue. To Bai Zai, the contract with the Su family was no longer a priority. What mattered was preparing for the coming siege from Red Star Group, as well as the looming threat of the Holy Church. After learning the truth from his father, Bai Zai had analyzed the situation carefully. The previous pope had gathered 10 special professionals to carry out his plans. If the former pope intended to continue his schemes, he would inevitably target Bai Zai. His class was already highly unusual, and he possessed an EX tier talent, making him an ideal candidate. No citizen within the Empire's cities enjoyed true privacy. The Empire kept records of every person, professionals included. To figures as powerful as the Pope, everyone's identity was an open book. His rapid leveling and abnormal attribute fluctuations were almost certainly documented. A flicker of wariness crossed Bai Zai's face. Fortunately, Red Star Group faced its own troubles at present, granting him time to grow stronger. All things considered, he needed to reach his second-class advancement as quickly as possible, eliminate Red Star Group's core combatants, and then head to the so-called 10,000 Beast Maw. Only then could he gain safety. Before that, he had to gather intelligence on Red Star Group's key fighters. With his current strength, he could not confront them head-on. You have entered monster territory. Island Core. Level 3035. Monsters: Night Fiends, Polar Night Creatures. Boss: Silver Tier Polar Night Queen. The notification chimed. Unconsciously, they had reached the center of Polar Night Island. Countless shadowy creatures crawled out of the soil in the distance, their eyes glowing pale green as they locked onto the intruders. Before Bai Zai could make a move, the Polar Night Queen appeared. Black whirlwinds rose at the island's center. A 3-meter-tall figure stepped forth. Intricate black runes covered her body, drawing the eye instantly. Her imposing stature caught Bai Zai off guard for a split second. "Be careful. This foe has a dangerous background," Su Qingqing cried out, staring fixedly at the markings on the Polar Night Queen. "Those are holy church runes. She must have deep ties to the church." Bai Zai composed himself and cleared his throat. "How significant are those connections?" Su Qingqing, huh? Small skeleton, goo goo gaga? I mean, she's definitely connected to the holy church, and Su Qingqing trailed off, catching the unintended implication in Bai Zai's words. "Not now. She's charging straight at us." Su Qingqing screamed in alarm. The Polar Night Queen lunged toward them like an enraged beast. Silver tier boss, Polar Night Queen level, 35 total constitution, 32,000. Su Qingqing gripped a teleportation talisman tightly and tossed another one toward Bai Zai. "Why panic? This will be a fast fight." Before Bai Zai issued an order, the small skeleton loosed an arrow. It struck the Polar Night Queen dead center, piercing through flesh. 2,176. 870. Mantis Demon Cleaver, 652. Electric Blade, just one arrow stripped away a tenth of the Polar Night Queen's health. As she closed in, the Mantis Sovereign charged forward and crashed into her. The two titans clashed violently. The Mantis Sovereign's sides clamped the Polar Night Queen's arms, while she kicked furiously to break free. For a moment, they fought evenly. Boasting 150% of its living stats, the undead Mantis Sovereign relied on its massive health pool to trade blows head-on with the Polar Night Queen. The pendant his mother left behind was far too powerful. Bai Zai suspected this ability undead summons could form the foundation of an entirely new class on its own. Afterward, Bai Zai and the small skeleton took turns firing. The passive effects of the two's gear kept triggering, their rapid shots striking the Queen of Eternal Night, occasionally landing on the Mantis Emperor as well, but that did not matter, for the Mantis Emperor could resurrect. Thanks to the massive tank, the Mantis Emperor, stubbornly holding their attention, the Queen of Eternal Night never got the chance to unleash a single skill. In less than 10 seconds, the Queen of Eternal Night's health was depleted. The next instant, Bai Zai activated Scatter Shot. With a thunderous crash, 8 arrows slammed into the Queen of Eternal Night's body. Fired vertically, they pierced vital points along her torso, pinning her firmly in place and slaying her instantly. Queen of Eternal Night slain. Experience plus 526,666. You have leveled up. Level 14, level 15. Constitution plus 50, Strength plus 50, Agility plus 50, Spirit plus 50. Current experience. Level 15, 86.5%. A warm sensation washed over Bai Zai as he officially reached level 15. Moreover, starting from level 15, each level granted more than 50 attribute points. The stat boost from leveling had grown substantially. At that moment, the Queen of Eternal Night's body crumbled and dissolved into streams of light. At the same time, a system notification echoed in both of their ears. You have cleared the Isle of Eternal Night. Time elapsed, 1 hour 42 minutes. Ranking. First, rewards. 1x selectable epic skill tome, 1x selectable epic equipment, 300,000 experience points. Rank reward, 1 god tablet engraving charge. You may choose to exit the instance immediately or leave freely within the next 12 hours. Once the notification faded, a violet, glowing skill tome and a purple treasure chest materialized beside Bai Zai. Shortly after, his level rose once more to level 16. You have leveled up. Level 15, level 16. Constitution plus 50, Strength plus 50, Agility plus 50, Spirit plus 50. Current experience. Level 16, 3.5%. The gains from this instance were tremendous, and a genuine smile tugged at Bai Zai's lips as he picked up the 2 items. Still, the rewards were nothing out of the ordinary, just a skill tome and an epic treasure chest. Exactly what he had anticipated. Just as a flicker of disappointment crossed his mind, his peripheral vision caught sight of something strange where the Queen of Eternal Night had fallen. It was not quite an object, but a giant black sphere, and inside it lay a person. Brother Zai, there really is someone in there. Who is he? Bai Zai frowned. Wait a minute. Where's the loot from the boss I defeated? What am I supposed to do with a person? Hey, he's still a living being. Bai Zai fell silent. The two hurried forward to investigate and found the barrier surrounding the sphere posed no obstruction. They reached in and pulled the man out. He was a young-looking man marked with the black patterns of the Holy Church across his body. He had neat features and wore black, rimmed glasses, giving him an honest demeanor. He's a professional, not a monster. Baizé frowned and leaned down to examine him. The man stirred awake the next second. Ugh, whoa. Li Zai opened his eyes and found Baizé's face looming right over him. I'm alive? Wait, didn't the Holy Church lock me away and twist me into a monster? What do you mean by that? Tell us everything. Baizé pressed with a furrowed brow. Li Zai slowly sat up and recounted everything that had happened to him before he ended up here. Roughly a decade ago, he had been captured by the Holy Church to take part in some kind of experiment. Then a woman had unleashed overwhelming power, shattering the experiment facility. Everyone scattered, some fleeing, some separated. Li Zai was far too weak to escape fully and was recaptured halfway. Enraged, the Holy Church twisted his form and threw him into the Isle of Eternal Night as a monster. After hearing his story, Su Qingqing felt no great surprise. Everyone knew the Holy Church committed terrible deeds, even if few spoke openly of it. Baizé, however, was deeply shaken. More than 10 years ago, a woman had led prisoners to break free from the Holy Church's experiment. That woman could only be his mother. A heavy, uneasy feeling settled in his chest. After regaining his composure, he looked at Li Zai. So you're over 40 years old. You look far younger. Li Zai puffed out his chest, a proud grin spreading across his face. Naturally, my class is novelist, one of the most unique classes in the Empire. I can maintain any appearance I wish. He spoke proudly, then turned toward the black sphere he had been trapped inside and stretched out a hand. The giant black sphere surged toward him, shrinking rapidly. I know you saved me. As repayment, I can manifest a powerful piece of equipment for you. He smiled, and the black mass churned and boiled in his palm like living liquid. Eventually, it solidified into a black heart-shaped object covered in sharp thorns. Li Zai carefully held out the black heart to Baizé. For saving me, please take this heart steel. I guarantee you will be amazed by its abilities. Heart steel rank. Special equipment-based stat bonuses. None. Special effect 1. Each time you take damage, your constitution rises slightly. Special effect 2. Whenever your constitution increases, your body can grow larger automatically. Description: I abandon heavy defenses and forge enduring vitality. Every gain in life force remains permanent. Even if you break through my armor and strike me with true damage, my heart will continue to grow until I become a giant. Your blows will mean nothing against my boundless vitality. My heart is forged of steel, unbreakable. Baizé picked up the item and read its details carefully. There were no direct stat bonuses, but its special effects made his eyes widen. Having traveled over from Earth, he immediately recognized heart steel. It was the famous item from League of Legends. Baizé was stunned. This equipment was practically a divine artifact. He raised heart steel and pressed it against the small skeleton's skull. The item equipped instantly. A notification appeared, confirming he had also gained access to Heartsteel's power. Baizé quickly opened his status panel and checked. He could toggle the size transformation effect on and off, so he would not be forced to turn into a giant. Even better, he could choose to concentrate the size change on any part of his body if he wanted. The possibilities were endless. You've already thought up quite a few creative uses, haven't you? Li Zai grinned, seeing Baizé's train of thought. Baizé looked up with an amused expression. Li Zai raised an eyebrow, matching his grin. Su Qingqing sighed. Please don't start scheming weird ideas right in front of me. The two men turned to her, remembering there was still a young woman present. Ahem. All right, let's open the skill tome and treasure chest first. After we finish engraving on the god tablet, we'll leave. Baizé waved his hand, and Li Zai nodded in agreement. He unlocked the reward chests for the skill tome and epic equipment. Brilliant purple light flashed, and 2 items appeared in his grasp. Blade of the End Times rank, epic stat bonus, agility plus 350. Special effect, attacks unleash wind slash. Each strike boosts movement speed by 5%, stacking up to 10 times. Wind slash, deals wind damage equal to 1% of the target's missing health. Skill tome, flash of eternal night rank, epic 7-star. Effect, dash forward a set distance. Each additional meter costs 10 spirit power and deals damage equal to 340% of the caster's spirit power to all enemies along the path. Cooldown, 120 seconds. No wonder this is a level 30 instance, Baizé murmured in approval. The equipment and skill were both formidable. The blade greatly amplified his speed and added consistent damage. The skill, however, suited him poorly. His spirit power only sat at roughly 300 points, strong for someone of his level, but still limited. It's a pity. I hope I can find more items that boost spirit power soon. With that thought, he He gave both items to the small skeleton. White Jade small skeleton has equipped Blade of the End Times. Agility plus 350. Your agility plus 350. White Jade small skeleton has learned the skill, Flash of Eternal Night. You have learned the skill, Flash of Eternal Night. After equipping the gear, Baizé's stats shifted once more. His agility broke past the 2,000 threshold. His attributes had reached an unprecedented level. Constitution, 1100, Strength, 2276, Agility, 2336, Spirit, 379. Ordinary professionals would only attain such stats around level 40, yet Baizé was merely level 16. Su Qingqing's voice broke through his thoughts. What's there to pity? These are high-tier epic items. Also, we cleared the Despair difficulty. Only Despair difficulty drops rewards this good. Hell difficulty would only yield low-tier epic or rare equipment at most. Baizé understood now after listening to Su Qingqing. To others, these would be legendary treasures, yet to him, they felt ordinary. Most professionals at his level were lucky to own 1 or 2 rare items. His own strength and farming speed were simply far beyond the norm. All right, time for the God Tablet engraving. You go first. Su Qingqing smiled, and let Baizé use the engraving charge first. The next moment, a towering golden stone tablet materialized before them, covered in carved names. First place, Xiao Tianqian. Second place, Chu Feng. Third place. He paid no attention to the top names and carved his own inscription, Swordseeker, Maiden Village. In an instant, Baizé's inscription pushed all previous names aside, claiming the first position overwhelmingly. Su Qingqing stepped forward to engrave next, Lover of Pork Knuckle Rice. The rankings shifted again. Su Qingqing took second place, knocking the original 9th and 10th place holders off the tablet entirely. At the exact moment they finished carving, inside a luxurious villa in Yanjing, Xiao Tianqian's eyes flew open mid-meditation. His servants gasped and dropped to their knees. Ignoring them, he immediately pulled up the leaderboard. When he saw the updated rankings, his blood surged and his face flushed crimson. Who on earth is Swordseeker Maiden Village? And Lover of Pork Knuckle Rice? Xiao Tianqian seethed with anger. As a genius with an SSS rank class, he could accept being outmatched, and he could tolerate others overtaking his spot on the God Tablet. But he could never stand being pushed down by such ridiculous usernames. Everyone who earned a place on the God Tablet treated the moment with solemnity, carving their true names to make their reputation known across the empire. It was a sign of respect for the empire, for all living beings, and loyalty to the Pope. Yet these two used absurd aliases. This was not merely an insult to him, Xiao Tianqian. It was an insult to every professional in the empire. Darkness flickered in Xiao Tianqian's eyes. He drew the curved blade beside his golden chair and spoke coldly. Prepare an aircraft. We head to Tianqi City. He planned to track down the pair and reclaim his ranking, refusing to let such silly names occupy the top spots and offend his eyes. Meanwhile, Baizé, the small skeleton, and Su Qingqing discussed matters and decided to bring Li Zai out of the instance with them. Su Qingqing did not mind either way. Baizé was the one pushing for it. Li Zai had suffered persecution at the hands of the Holy Church, just like Baizé's mother. That made them natural allies. Additionally, Baizé was deeply curious about the novelist class. If Li Zai could manifest something as powerful as heart steel, with the right materials, might he be able to create even stronger equipment? With that in mind, the group took Li Zai along. Their figures vanished and reappeared outside the instance gateway. The names on the God Tablet have changed. Someone set new records. Impossible. First and second place have both been taken. Shouts erupted from the crowd, but the culprits had already slipped into the masses, keeping a low profile. Shortly afterward, Baizé and Li Zai followed Su Qingqing to a presidential suite. They agreed to rest for a while and resume their instance runs the next day. Su Qingqing took the side bedroom. Baizé, Li Zai, and the small skeleton occupied the other room. The small skeleton sat happily stacking building blocks, completely ignoring Baizé. Baizé and Li Zai sat around a round table, each with a cigar and a glass of red wine, and began to talk. Tell me, what did that woman look like when you tried to escape? How strong was she? Baizé asked cautiously. He had never seen his mother. There were no photos of her at home, and he was eager to hear a description. Strong? She was overwhelmingly powerful. Li Zai's eyes lit up as he recalled the scene. She was stunning, with sky, blue hair, and 2 dragon horns growing from her head. Most incredible of all, she could summon countless undead bosses with a wave of her hand, throwing the Holy Church's forces into chaos. From that moment, I thought she was the most extraordinary woman I had ever met. Bai Zai confirmed at once that this woman was his mother. What happened to her afterward? Bai Zai asked, inwardly complaining that Li Zai admired his mother. Li Zai's expression darkened. I escaped temporarily, but was recaptured. That woman was seized on the spot. No one knows if she's alive, but she is definitely in the Holy Church's custody. Crack. Bai Zai's grip tightened, shattering the wine glass in his hand. A heavy weight pressed against his chest, making it hard to breathe. Everything now made sense. His father was only level 72, far too weak to fight the Holy Church. After his mother's capture, he had fallen into despair and raised Bai Zai alone in a shabby rental house. The so-called demon den of 10,000 beasts was likely his father's base of operations, though Bai Zai still knew little about it. He took a deep breath, forcing his turbulent emotions under control. I understand. Let's talk about your class instead. How powerful are you? Li Zai took a deep drag of his cigar, tactfully pretending not to notice Bai Zai's mood, and grew excited again. I told you, I'm a novelist. I can write things into existence. Recently I've been drafting a novel about a summoner who can call ancient beasts, golden titans, Jormungandr, the works. In theory, I could manifest that summoner and command him to summon those ancient mythical creatures to fight for me. He trailed off when he saw Bai Zai's skeptical stare. He scratched his head awkwardly. It's not quite that strong yet. That's my planned ability once I hit level 90. But as you saw, I can manifest special equipment like Heartsteel, provided I have the required materials. Bai Zai nodded. Li Zai had been honest about his limits. Moving forward, he could gather materials and hand them over to Li Zai for manifestation. Still, there were clearly restrictions to this ability, seeing as the equipment it created lacked standard rank classification. Just then, the curtains of the side room drew open. Su Qingqing walked out wearing a Lolita dress and cute pink slippers. She rubbed her eyes and yawned sleepily. Brother Zai, have you decided which instance we'll tackle tomorrow? Keep clearing dungeons, obviously, Bai Zai shrugged. Su Qingqing smiled and held up her phone in front of him. I have an idea. Let's skip high-rank Abyss instances for the next couple days and focus on 1-star and 2-star ones instead. Why? Bai Zai asked in confusion. You're not thinking this through. Every Abyss allows you to engrave your name on the God Tablet. Once you accumulate enough engravings, you can trade them for extremely rare rewards. She turned the screen toward him. Look, decades ago, someone engraved their name 10 times and earned a full set of hero rank equipment. And look at this envoy of the Holy Church, Han Xian. 20 engravings won him an unranked obsidian grade weapon. Bai Zai took the phone and read through the records carefully. Su Qingqing was right. The more times you engraved your name on the God Tablet, the more high-tier gear and rare items you could exchange for. He was only level 16, which meant he could still enter 1-star and 2-star instances. Once he reached level 20, level restrictions would kick in. Even if he set new records afterward, the God Tablet would no longer recognize them. Bai Zai shot to his feet. With his current strength, clearing low-rank instances would be trivial. He could probably finish each run in under 10 minutes. He might be able to complete more than 30 runs in a single day. Brilliant. I never knew this trick existed. Excited, he grabbed Su Qingqing by the shoulders. Great call. It's good to see you bringing solid ideas to the team. Su Qingqing's shoulders warmed under his hands, and her cheeks flushed. What do you mean bringing ideas? I've always been useful. I keep supporting you with buffs. She pouted playfully. Li Zai stood up, holding his wine glass and cigar. Do you want me to find another room? I can take a standard suite, but I don't have any money, so you'll have to cover the cost, he said, thinking he was reading the room well. Ugh. Su Qingqing buried her reddened face and hurried back to her room. Bai Zai let out a chuckle. All right, everyone get some rest. You flustered the girl. The rest of the night passed without incident. The next day, the three woke up early in the morning. After washing up, they headed straight for a 1-star dungeon. 1-star dungeons posed little challenge, so the group remained relaxed. Bai Zai had even brought along a full set of barbecue supplies. After brief preparations, the three stepped into the dungeon. Meanwhile, at the Su family residence in Magic City, Su Tianhao sat behind his desk, his brows furrowed as he stared at messages on his computer, his face etched with distress. Damn it! Why is recruiting a monument engraver so difficult? He had spent the entire previous day competing against a power from Kyoto for a classer who had carved their name onto the divine monument. The classer was not overwhelmingly powerful, yet securing a spot on the divine monument marked them as a standout among the younger generation. For the tournament taking place in 10 days, Su Tianhao had no choice but to pursue this young man who was otherwise unremarkable. He had poured nearly 2 million star yuan coins into the effort. While the sum was not crippling for him, he had failed to secure the recruit. A whole day wasted for nothing. The thought alone irked him. There was also his daughter Su Qingqing, who claimed she had found a monument engraver. What could a young girl possibly know about this? Su Tianhao frowned and impatiently scrolled through the chat logs Su Qingqing had sent him. But the moment he read them, he froze on the spot. His own daughter, Su Qingqing, had carved her name onto the divine monument twice. How is this possible? He shot to his feet, oblivious to the water cup he knocked over on the desk. He knew all too well how weak Su Qingqing was. She was merely an A-rank support. He had always assumed she could rely on the family group's resources. He had never held high expectations for her. Yet now, this daughter he had thought frail and powerless had left her name on the divine monument twice. In the next instant, Su Tianhao came to his senses. With Su Qingqing's ability, she could never have accomplished this on her own. Someone must have brought her along. And whoever that person was, they were extraordinary. If he could recruit this individual into the Su Corporation, then Su Tianhao's eyes widened, and excitement surged through him. He quickly ran a system search. Roughly 10 minutes later, he located the other person who had carved their name alongside Su Qingqing. Ask Sword Lady Village? Su Tianhao knitted his brows. I've never heard that name before, and what kind of moniker is this? Pick up the phone. Su Tianhao frantically called Su Qingqing. What he did not know was that Su Qingqing, Bai Zai and the others had already entered the dungeon and could not answer calls. Inside the dungeon, Bai Zai and his companions had already settled in. The three set up a table and chairs, sipping tea as they waited for the dungeon to clear. They did not even summon the little skeleton. Bai Zai had bought a full set of children's toys for the skeleton, who was playing off to the side. The task of clearing the dungeon fell to the Undead Mantis Emperor. The Undead Mantis Emperor's baseline strength stood at level 35. After its undead transformation, its attributes were boosted, bringing its combat power to roughly level 36. Such a high-tier boss ran rampant within this one-star dungeon. It charged straight through any monsters it encountered, advancing rapidly toward the dungeon boss. The massive gap in strength meant no creature could halt the Mantis Emperor. It stormed into the dungeon core in under a minute, then swung its scythe and beheaded the dungeon boss in one strike. Su Qingqing watched the scene in utter shock. She had imagined Bai Zai would need to fight alongside the little skeleton for a swift clear. She never expected him to summon the Mantis Emperor. After its relentless charge, the dungeon was cleared in merely 5 minutes. You have cleared demon territory. Completion time, 5 minutes 19 seconds. Ranking, first. Rewards, 1 random rare, great equipment times 1. Experience points, 50,000 times 1. Rank reward, divine monument engraving chance times 1. You may choose to exit the dungeon immediately or leave at any time within the next 12 hours. As expected, Bai Zai claimed first place once more and carved his name onto the divine monument right away. Ask Sword Lady Village. Shortly after, Su Qingqing and Li Zai inscribed their names as well, and the three exited the dungeon. The moment their names were carved, a notification surfaced in Bai Zai's mind. You have engraved your name on the divine monument 3 times. You may claim a choice reward now, or continue engraving. His eyes lit up as he checked the available rewards. 3 divine monument engravings reward. Choose 1. Random epic. Grade equipment random epic. Grade skill. Bai Zai nodded to himself. 3 engravings were far too few. His current equipment was inadequate. The optimal plan remained to gather 30 divine monument engravings first. For the time being, Bai Zai did not open any equipment reward chests. He stored all of them away. Su Qingqing had gifted him a spatial bracelet, so he could keep everything safe and unlock his strength all at once later. The trio proceeded to clear dungeons and claim rankings non-stop. Bai Zai's method was overwhelmingly efficient. 1. Star dungeons offered 0 resistance against him. He never needed to lift a finger. He simply summoned the Mantis Emperor Gules, who charged in and cut down all foes, finishing each dungeon within minutes to secure first place. Su Qingqing could only stare in disbelief. She had seen people farm dungeons before, but never like this. The summoner did nothing while their summoned beast soloed the dungeon in record time. Time passed. Roughly 6 hours later, Bai Zai's group had cleared every one-star dungeon in Tianqi City. By then, he had earned 21 engravings. The experience gained pushed Bai Zai to level 17, Su Qingqing to level 12, while Li Zai remained at level 18. 1-star dungeons existed only as training grounds for classers and offered modest rewards. Their only real value to the group was the divine monument engraving opportunities. Of course, the equipment was an added bonus for Bai Zai. 21 dungeons yielded an average of 21 rare, great equipment pieces. All three had reaped substantial gains. The repeated names they left on the monument sent shockwaves rippling through Tianqi City's classer community. Ask Sword Lady Village, Rice Lover, Tomato Golden Author. These three names appeared 21 times within a single day, all from 1-star dungeons. Even the Classer Alliance began investigating their identities. Everyone wondered who these formidable individuals could be. Yet no one was more stunned than Xiao Tianqian, standing outside the Eternal Night All dungeon. He stared blankly at his phone, his complexion turning pale. He had come to Tianqi City aiming to reclaim the top ranking. But the information before him revealed the opponents were likely below level 20. Anyone above level 20 would no longer gain experience or qualify for Divine Monument engravings when clearing 1-star and 2-star dungeons. That meant he was competing against prodigies under level 20, and he might not even be able to beat them. Xiao Tianqian glanced at the rankings displayed on the Eternal Night All Divine Monument. First place belonged to Ask Sword Lady Village and Rice Lover, both with a clear time of 1 hour 42 minutes. He ranked third with a time of 5 hours 32 minutes. The disparity was enormous, and Xiao Tianqian realized something was deeply amiss. Fine, you two win. Xiao Tianqian let out a bitter laugh. He was nearly level 40. There was no point competing against such young talents. After a moment's thought, he conceded. Besides, a time of 1 hour 42 minutes far outstripped his 5 hours 32 minutes. The gap was insurmountable. Xiao Tianqian made up his mind. This ranking is yours. Elsewhere, Bai Zhe and his companions exited another dungeon, bringing their total Divine Monument rankings to 22. None of the three showed any signs of fatigue. All looked energetic and refreshed. The little skeleton was thoroughly enjoying itself, mashing buttons on a PS5 game console and muttering cheerful noises. This is incredible, Bai Zhe. Adding our earlier rankings, we now hold 24 Divine Monument engravings, all first-place finishes. Su Qingqing was so excited she could barely contain herself. She fully understood what this achievement signified. Even the renowned Special Envoy Han Xian from the Holy Church only had 21 engravings to his name. Meanwhile, they had earned 24 in a single day. While all came from 1-star dungeons, pulling off such feats at a low level spoke volumes about their potential. Bai Zhe nodded calmly and checked the rewards available through the Divine Monument. 24 Divine Monument engravings reward. Choose 1. Random Boundless Obsidian. Great Equipment Random Boundless Hero. Rank 9, Star Skill. Bai Zhe's expression shifted into genuine astonishment. Equipment and skills were categorized by tier. Common, Rare, Epic, Hero, Obsidian, Mystic, Primordial. The gap between each tier was immense. For example, Epic, Great Equipment granted at most around 500 attribute points, while Hero, Great Equipment offered over 1,000 points alongside at least 2 special effects. Now, the reward for 24 engravings included a Boundless Obsidian, Great piece of equipment. Obsidian, Great Equipment was estimated to boost attributes by over 5,000 points. The other option, a Hero, Rank 9, Star Skill, appeared to be one tier lower on paper, yet it was actually even more valuable, a Peak tier Hero Skill. Bai Zhe's heart raced with desire. If he had rushed straight into 3-star dungeons today, he would have missed this massive opportunity. Plenty of 2-star dungeons still remained uncleared. Once those were finished, his total Divine Monument engravings would surpass 40. At that point, the rewards would surely far exceed ordinary Hero and Obsidian tier treasures.